Style of these two clubs, well, we should have quite a game.
It should be very interesting, Jerry. Both clubs like to run, so that generally makes for a very entertaining ball game if you can keep the turnovers down. So I'm looking forward to a very entertaining game today.
And then, of course, the playoffs loom large in the race in the Western Conference with two teams with a bye right now.
Portland and Denver, winning their respective divisions, have the byes so far, followed by Phoenix, Seattle, Los Angeles, and Milwaukee, with Chicago and Golden State really close by and having a chance at that sixth spot.
Well, it's interesting to note that Los Angeles has 7 left on the road, Milwaukee with 5 away, Golden State with 5 away, and Chicago with 6 on the road. That's quite a struggle for those 4 spots. Meanwhile, in the Eastern Conference, 2 teams that will get byes.
Philadelphia and San Antonio, again winners of their divisions, followed by Washington, New York, Cleveland, New Orleans, Atlanta, and Boston, still with a real good shot at the playoffs.
And, of course, 4 of those last 5 teams only separated by 4 games in the loss column. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for this afternoon's game right now. Moving to Seattle, it'll be Johnny Johnson at 6'6" against Larry Keenan at 6'9". The pairing there, Kobe Dietrich of San Antonio at 6'11". Against Jack Sikma at 6'11". In the hole, Marvin Webster, 7-1 for Seattle against Billy Paultz at 6'11". Dennis Johnson on the back line at 6'4", along with Gus Williams at 6'2" for Seattle. They'll go against the Iceman, George Gervin at 6'7", and Mike Gale at 6'4". Gale will, of course, be the man who will trigger the attack and run it. That is Gale with the ball, bringing it up on the back line against Gus Williams. Sikma in the corner, up against Dietrich, boots it out of bounds.
There's a particular time where you're not allowed to use your feet on defense, and it was kicked out of bounds.
Joe Gushu out of Philadelphia, his 17th year in the NBA. One of the 2 officials, Joe wearing number 7. Bernie Fryer in his first year in the NBA. Facing the basket, missing the shot, Billy Paultz. Here comes Seattle. They love to run. Johnny Johnson is fouled as he goes for the ball by Mike Gale. Johnson's all right.
Coming down the ball on a fast break, Gus Williams makes a very good bounce pass to Johnny Johnson, but he's fouled by Gale on the way up to the basket, but it was not a shooting foul, so we'll take it out on the side.
That'll, of course, be only the first team foul in the game, Stu. And Johnny Johnson takes the shot. So Seattle bounces into the lead, 2-0.
That's what they need from Johnny Johnson. They need a forward that's going to consistently give them 14, 15 points.
Seattle on defense in white in the black uniform. The black uniform, of course, the San Antonio Spurs. They lead in the Central Division. And a foul going to the hoop. Dennis Johnson knows he was nailed, raises his arm. Let's watch the play underneath.
George comes down the middle, beats Dennis. Dennis reaches in trying to make the good play, but grabs him along the wrist for a 2-shot foul.
So George Gervin, the Iceman as he is known, at the foul line. Gervin has scored 36 and 41 points in his last 2 games against Seattle. Last year, he had a 42-point game against the Sonics. He's had great stats against him, shooting close to 58%, a great scorer. Gervin now with 1 point, and George averages 27.5. Stealing the ball and coming up with it, that's Mike Gale. And so San Antonio comes bouncing back. The Spurs now go into the lead by the score of 3-2.
Both clubs are starting off just like we anticipated with running games. The team that pounds the boards the hardest, I think, should become the winner.
Marvin Webster, number 40, getting a pick away for Johnson. Good rebound underneath by Kobe Dietrich. A big front wall for San Antonio. But they have to face the bucket. And facing it well there is Billy Paultz.
They have a big front line, but that front line can hurt you offensively because they are all excellent shooters from the field.
No doubt about it. Kobe Dietrich, Billy Paultz, Larry Keenan. That's Johnny Johnson making his move. That was a fine move by the front office when Lenny Wilkins, who is now the coach, was the general manager, acquiring Johnny Johnson from Houston for 2 second-round picks this year, or really in '79 and 1980. Now the score 5-4, the Spurs leading Seattle. Looking for a man inside, Larry Keenan. Good position by the human eraser, Marvin Webster, who has overcome some physical handicap, had some problems with his health, overcome those. Now he's in the hole for Wilkins. Tipped in, basket counts by Dennis Johnson.
Dennis Johnson stays on the offensive boards. An interesting stat is he has more offensive rebounds on the season than defensive rebounds.
119 offensive rebounds. That's the most by any backcourt man in the league. He can really get up there, Stu. You're absolutely right. He tries to go into the hole, and you see Billy Paultz take it away in a 6-5 Seattle lead. Just at the start of things for the NBA on CBS. Regional basketball as Kobe Dietrich hits from the corner. Dietrich, a good shooter out of San Jose State.
That's one of the reasons why San Antonio is so dangerous. You cannot allow any one player on that team to shoot the basketball.
We'll try and keep you up to date on other NBA games. There's a big one at the Forum in Los Angeles tonight. Atlanta at LA or at Inglewood. That's Sigma, the rookie, with his first two. San Antonio's lead is now cut down the other way, and Seattle goes to the 4, 8-7. Mike Gale. Look at Williams with his left hand on his body.
Gus was not too particularly pleased with that call. He didn't think he got him. Gale goes down the left side. You see him dribbling his left hand. He goes up for the shot. Gus goes up. Looks like he has the ball, but he evidently hits him a little bit on the elbow.
So Mike Gale at the line. Gale hitting from the line. Their second best foul shooter, 88%. Number 2, the top man on the club from the foul line. Oddly enough is Mo Laxton, 90%, but he's only been to the line 10 times. So Seattle goes back, trailing the Spurs with 8.5 to go, first period. 2 team fouls against Seattle, 1 against San Antonio. Webster is the man normally in the hole for Seattle. They like to run. They have played well here at home and very well under Lenny Wilkins.
They've played extremely well under Lenny, but on that particular play, I don't think Lenny wants his center dribbling the basketball like a guard too much.
No question about it. He turns the ball over more than any one man on this club. That is Marvin Webster. And so the Spurs move it inside and take the lead 11-8. This is their biggest lead. Gus Williams, formerly with Golden State, going over to the rookie, and the rookie on great second effort.
That is pure hustle. He goes to the basket, misses the shot, and is right back up to before the defense to get it back in.
The top draft choice of Seattle, out of Illinois, Wesleyan. How about that one from outer space? 4 points for Kobe Dietrich. So it's going to be an up-and-down basketball game. 13-10, 3-point lead for the Spurs. First period of action, 7:40 left to go. Johnson now directing traffic underneath. Wants to get Williams alone. Sigma goes over the top of Dietrich. Waltz taps it back. Sigma recovers, stolen out of bounds and knocked away by Mike Gale.
Both clubs hustling right there now, and that's the thing to do in this situation, because anytime you want to run, you've got to have the basketball, because it's kind of hard to run without it.
San Antonio leading in the Central Division by 6.5, and Seattle battling for a playoff spot in the Pacific Division. 7:38 to go.
Yeah, Buck.
I just went to another bar and asked for light beer for Miller.
Yeah?
They said, sorry, Buck, we don't have it.
They didn't have it?
No. I don't want some beer that's going to fill me up.
No.
I want light. Tastes great.
Right.
Has a third less calories than a regular beer.
Yeah.
And, man, it's less filling. You think I'm going to the other bar again? No way. From now on, the buck stops here.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
See what's new today.
Chevrolet announces a lot more Chevette for a lot less money. New Chevette standard equipment includes a radio, reclining bucket seats, white-wall tires, console, sports steering wheel, a 1.6-liter engine, 18 new standard features in all, plus a wide hatch, carpeting, front disc brakes, rack and pinion steering, and more. The 78 Chevy Chevette. A lot more car for a lot less money.
Ribbit, ribbit.
You know, I think I liked you better as a frog. As a frog, you had a much smoother face. Prince, didn't you ever hear Palmolive Rapid Shave? While you were away, they improved it. Palmolive Rapid Shave is thicker and lusher than ever. Feels good while you shave. Feels good after.
Improved Palmolive Rapid Shave in 3 refreshing fragrances. And now Irish Spring fragrance, too.
What do you say now, Prince?
Ribbit.
Ribbit?
Next Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports Spectacular presents highlights of the World Cup skiing finals with America's Phil Mayer racing against Sweden's Ingemar Stenmark. Highlights of European freestyle figure skating. Plus, the 33rd running of the Gulfstream Handicap. That's next Saturday at 5 p.m.
We have 7:38 remaining in the first period. The Spurs leading 13-10. I'm Jerry Gross along with Stu Lance. And the action back as the team in white is Seattle with Johnny Johnson making a good move. but apparently he carried the balls too.
Lost control of the basketball, made an excellent first step to get around his man, but did not have complete control, and there was the travel.
Hey, there's a lot of news coming up about Bill Walton that we want to get into. Walton's injury and Maurice Lucas' injury. We'll tell you the latest after calling over there. Our fine producer, Tom O'Neill, made the call, and we have the up-to-the-moment information on those two great stars. Mike Gale missing with a shot. That's Marvin Webster with a rebound, and Gus Williams, brilliant pass. Johnny Johnson with the shot attempt.
That was an excellent pass. Just a little lack of concentration on the shot, and he missed it.
Watch how Dennis Johnson plays Gervin. He likes to let him go to his left side. Wants to let him take that right-handed shot, moving right to left. Watch for that on the other side coming down. Oh, Johnson throwing what looked like a foot on the play against his man Gervin. Gervin putting his hands all over him now, away from the ball. Foul on the play, basket counts, and Marvin Webster gets a pair.
Excellent move by Webster. He goes to the middle. Here he's seen with the ball. He makes a good head and shoulders fake, gets his man off his feet, drives. Good concentration, body control, gets fouled, makes the basket with the possible three-point play.
So Marvin Webster at the line out of Morgan State. And he moves Seattle into a tie, 13-all with 6:43 to go. Neither team in foul trouble. Both clubs have two team fouls. That's Larry Keenan going over to the big guy in the corner. Toby Dietrich misses it. Johnny Johnson with the rebound. Dennis Johnson, who was, some say, going to go to Los Angeles, but the Lakers never did draft him out of Pepperdine. Now he takes his man in the hole and makes the play, and he's fouled. So he took Gervin in the hole, despite the fact that Gervin's 6'7", and he is 6'4". Stu, some say this man jumps almost as well as a man 6'7".
He gets rid of the basketball, gives it to J.J. Johnson, and then cuts to the basket. Gervin turns his head, which is a defensive sin, makes the pass, and he draws the foul.
So at the line, Dennis Johnson. Dennis Johnson, the number 2 draft choice of Seattle, now has 5 points. Dennis has been averaging 12, but 15 as a starter since November 30th when Len Wilkins took over this club. Gus Williams with a steal. 3-on-1. Gale is in the middle. And a former Warrior puts Seattle into a 5-point lead.
Excellent. Stopped at the free throw line, ran a picture-perfect 3-on-1 fast break. The defense didn't commit, so he stops at the free throw line for the small 15-footer.
We have one score just in at Boston. Denver losing to the Celtics 122-95.
We are super critical on that line. We'll knock down engines for a bad paint job, and that's no jive, man. Quality control is the most important aspect of the whole business.
James Rock, Quality Control Inspector. This is who we are and what we do at General Motors.
If the customer has problems with that car, then we got problems, because he's not going to be a General Motors customer again. We have 9 inspection stations. I go around to critical points on the line to ensure that they're doing the job right. I run hot tests. You can listen to that engine and you can say, well, this one's a good one or this one's a bad one. It's a good feeling. It's a little feeling of power. There's nobody going to overrule you. But we want to ensure that by the time that it's shipped to the assembly divisions, that engine does function in the way that it's designed to function. I feel personally responsible for that car. I know it's a good car. I know we build it, and we build it right.
General Motors, people building transportation to serve people.
Outward bound, Rota, Spain. See your local recruiter or call toll-free. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
Following the game, CBS Sports presents the World Skate Challenge with JoJo Starbuck, Janet Lynn, and more superstars of the ice competing in a unique format. That's the World Skate Challenge following the game on most of these stations.
You're looking at Doug Moe, the coach of the Spurs, and to his left, Bob Bass, the assistant to the president. Doug Moe out of New York and from the University of North Carolina. Coaching this club, he's done a fine job. Out of bounds, it still belongs to the men in black. The San Antonio Spurs are trailing Seattle by 5. It is an 18-13 score. We're in the first period of action. Glad to have you aboard. The NBA on CBS, of course, looking forward to the playoffs. Kobe Dietrich normally will hit that jump shot outside, perhaps a little too deep. Larry Keenan missing inside. Out of bounds it goes. That forward wall is impressive. Keenan at 6'9", Fultz at 6'11", and the other man, Kobe Dietrich, at 6'11".
And they're doing the thing that it takes to stop a team from running. Either make a lot of your shots or pound the offensive board.
Marvin Webster got picked off on that play, and you cannot leave Billy Fultz alone with that 15-footer. He averages 16 points a game. He's a great shooter around the foul line. And he now has 4 points, and it's 18 to 15. Make it 20 to 15. 6 points for Jack Sikma. His average on the year is 9.5. That's George Gervin. Can dribble with either hand. Dennis Johnson doesn't want to give him inside room. Billy Fultz is going to kill him from the foul line.
Well, if Webster allows him to come across the key uncontested like that, he's in for a long afternoon.
No question about it. Marvin's going to have to tighten up on his defense. It's a 20 to 17 lead for the team in white. Johnny Johnson moving away from his man. He's a good line drive shooter. Looks like Woody Salisbury with that line drive shot.
He's known for his line drive shot, but his defensive man tried an Academy Award fake on the charge and didn't receive it.
Didn't get the call from either one of the officials. Marvin Webster with a rebound. It's 22 to 17. The 5-point spread enjoyed right now by Seattle. The men in black, the high-flying San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio is the #1 scoring team in the NBA. They really pump them up, Stu.
Well, when you look at the shooters that they have, you can see why they're #1. Dietrich has the ball, drives baseline, and there you see the hand right in the midriff.
Coming into the game, Louis Dampier, one of the great shooters in college basketball, #10. Jack Sikma comes out of the game, and #35, the old man of the NBA. We say that affectionately. Paul Silas did quite a job on Adrian Dantley, we understand, in Los Angeles the other night in a big win for Seattle. That's Dennis Johnson at 6'4" with a dunk.
He goes to the basket with authority. You see the rebound by Webster, the long pass to Johnson, who goes up for the two-handed dunk.
Sensational pass. Offensive foul at the other end. The ball will be awarded back over to Seattle, and it's 24 to 17. Bill Walton's condition, Stu Lance. I know you have that information.
Well, they're really looking forward to having Bill come back. He'll probably be back within a week. Very possibly play against Seattle on the 21st of this month.
And of course, Maurice Lucas is out. That's Gus Williams trying to shoot in tight. Marvin Webster is in there with a tip in, and Seattle bursts into their biggest lead. They're up 26 to 17, a 9-point advantage.
They're hitting the offensive boards extremely well, and that's the thing to do if you want to stop one team from running.
They're trying to get Billy Fultz underneath. Look at Marvin Webster. He's playing what looks like a zone now. Just sitting right in the middle. Johnny Johnson was picking up Fultz. Williams with a great pass. Will it go? It does not go, and he's fouled in the act of shooting. But defensively, Stu, Seattle with what appears to be a blatant zone defense.
Gale goes into the middle and has the ball slapped out of his hand. Silas gives it to Johnson, who gives it to Williams, back to Johnson, and Dampier gets him on the arm, but prevents him from making the field goal to send him to the line for 2 shots.
We have 3 minutes and 22 seconds remaining. At the line, we're in the first period, and it's 26 to 17 as Seattle is leading the Spurs. And you're taking a shot right now and a good look at Freddie Brown, the man who comes off the bench and pumps him in. That's Len Wilkins in the light coat. What a job he's done, Stu. And if you're thinking of the coach of the year, well, what's your thought?
Well, I'm thinking of Lenny Wilkins as coach of the year. Here we see Doug Moe explaining to his team what it's going to take for him to get into it.
We don't jump till after they're laying it in. Now, somewhere along the line, fellas, if we're going to win big games, we have got to work on the board. You got to start hitting somebody in the head on the board. You got to make contact with somebody. Every rebound they've got, offense and defense. The only ones we get down there when they don't go to it. We have 4 guys there together. Now, David, get after the ball. Take some pride in getting after the ball. And the offensive board, if you don't go to the board, turn and run your ass back defense. You go to the board, fine, but don't get in there and stand and watch and let it come off. Get in there and jump it. If you don't jump, run back.
Go get him, Doug.
Well, Doug is telling his team that they have got to pound the boards, because when a team likes to run, which Seattle is doing right now, If you don't pound the boards and get second and third shots, then you've got to turn around and run and get back down on defense and stop that fast break.
And you know, oddly enough, Seattle's biggest improvement this season has been in rebounding. I want to remind you on the CBS Challenge of the Sexes, it'll be Sue Pirtle against Sandy Kirby in the rodeo. In horseshoes, Carl Steinfeld against Kelly O'Brien. Freestyle skiing, Joni Lincoln against Frank Bear Jr. Should be a big one next Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern time. That's the Challenge of the Sexes on CBS. The Sonics have, well, last season, the opposition out-rebounded Seattle by 120 rebounds. They've turned it all around, and primarily through the acquisition of Silas and Webster. Going into this game, the Sonics lead their opposition on the year by 7 rebounds, and they're the #1 offensive rebounding team in the NBA. That's incredible.
They go to the offensive boards.
Yes,
they make it extremely difficult on you because you've got to box everybody out, and they have big players at the backcourt position that can rebound also.
That's Mike Gale behind a pick, popping it in. The screen set up on the play by a fellow who used to play. Mike Green, who used to play for Seattle. So he set the pick. He has come into the game to try and contain Webster. Webster in the game has scored 5 points. Dennis Johnson leads all scorers with 9. And 6 points now for Mike Gale. That is Silas going into Webster. Johnny Johnson gets caught on a switch. Green has it. Inside again, taking his man into the hole. As you saw, Dennis Johnson. And here's Louis Dampier coming up with it. It's 28-19. A 9-point lead enjoyed by Seattle. San Antonio can come right out of it. They can blow off 10 in a row, though. Gus Williams almost traveled.
They're running again, and they are running solely because of the defense right now. They are playing excellent defense and getting them easy fast break opportunities.
New Orleans, incidentally, oddly enough, is the #1 rebounding team in the NBA. And you saw the fine move and fine action on that play underneath Larry Keenan. Keenan now has 4 points. He averages 20.5. The two men you got to stop, really, Stu, are the Iceman and Larry.
It's not easy to do, but those are the major factors for the San Antonio Spurs. They're the two guys that consistently score for the San Antonio Spurs.
Well, when you see Paul Silas score on that hook shot, that's a +1.5. Paul's forte, as it were, is defense. He pushed off a little on the play, but Dietrich had good body balance and still scored. And it's 32-23. Now it's 34-23. The lead is 11 again. This has got to be a crowd-pleasing game.
Yes, anytime you're running up and down the floor, it's very entertaining to the people. But what San Antonio has to do, they're going to have to pick up their defense. They're going to have to pick up the guards at midcourt and don't allow them so much penetration.
Here comes the 4-on-2 break. Johnny Johnson tried too hard to bank it. Batted around. Look at the hustle on that play by Mike Green. Good hustle. Now that's Dietrich. All alone, Larry Keenan. One thing about San Antonio, they can be down by 20, but they can come back with a roar.
Because they have so many offensive machines on that ball club. They bring a guy like Dampier off the bench who is such an excellent shooter that just hurts you all the way around.
That's Webster with it. He gets the screen over to Gus Williams. Free agent signed by Lenny Wilkins. Silas battling for the ball. 44 seconds remaining in the first period. 14 fouls on San Antonio. They're in black. Seattle has 3 team fouls. Dennis Johnson comes out of the game. And here's Freddie Brown coming in, number 32, the leading scorer off the bench of anyone in the NBA. Freddie Brown, the hot man with a hand. He's the captain of this club. Doesn't mind coming off the bench at all. The real mark of a champion in the NBA is who finishes the game, not who starts it. You see the time remaining in the first period, Stu, 30 seconds.
They're trying to get the shot off so that they can have a possible chance at the last shot, but they didn't succeed. So San Antonio now will probably work for one.
Number 53, Mark Olberding, is the man who just took the ball off the boards. He's a rough, tough, physical inside player. As Darryl Dawkins would say, he's a country boy. Not flashy, just does the job. Mike Gale with a turnaround jump. Seattle leading 34-27. The lead is cut to 7. 2 seconds. He got it off in time. And that marks the end of the first period of play here at the Seattle Center Coliseum. At the end of 1, it's Seattle 34, San Antonio 27.
I joined the move to Michelin.
I joined the move to Michelin.
I joined the move to Michelin.
You should too. Michelin's the one that introduced the radial, and Michelin makes only radials. Michelin's the one that's made radials longer than anybody else in the world. Michelin's the one to insist on.
Join the move to Michelin.
For real tire satisfaction, think Michelin first. We're second to none.
Now there's even more to love about new Chevy Love. New looks, plus the longest box of any economy-size pickup in America. A new soft ride suspension. A new 1,635-pound load capacity. And the kind of mileage you might expect. 34 miles per gallon highway, 24 city. Now there's even more to love. For everybody. Chevy trucks, built to stay tough.
Hi, I'm David Thompson of the Denver Nuggets. And I'm a long way from NBA action. Here in Africa, like a lot of places around the world, the Peace Corps is alive and well, helping people in need. People went out of their way to help me when I was a kid. And that's what the Peace Corps is asking you to do. Help someone and you'll help yourself. Join the Peace Corps.
This message is brought to you by the Ad Council in cooperation with the NBA.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Basketball Association. At the end of one period, you see the score. Seattle at one time led by 11 points. High man has been Dennis Johnson. Dennis has scored a total of 9 points. The high man with 8 points, Mike Gale for San Antonio. You see the shooting statistics, Stu Lance.
Both clubs were shooting the basketball one, and it's going to be a situation where whichever club doesn't necessarily have to shoot the best percentage, but when you're running and shooting, you get a number of attempts. So the more attempts you get, the better off you'll be.
In the game is Wally Walker, number 42, and Jack Sickman, number 43, on a set play. There was a traveling violation. Paul Silas up front, number 35. Fred Brown on the back line. Now will be picking up the Iceman. Remember, Fred Brown is 6'3", and the Iceman is 6'7". He may post him. Dampier outside is guarded by Gus Williams. That is Mark Oberding out of the game now. No, Mark is in the right corner. That's Alan Bristow who is with the ball momentarily, and a foul on the play.
Gervin receives the ball at the top of the key, gives a good fake to Brown, goes down the lane, it's foul, but good concentration and body control for the 2 points.
So George Gervin, now 25 years of age in his 6th year. He has been averaging 31.5 points a game in his last 5. He's trying to catch Pete Maravich in the struggle for the #1 scorer from an average standpoint in the NBA. He scored more points all year because Pete's been injured. Wally Walker chases it, cannot come up with it. Out of bounds it goes. 4-point lead for Seattle. They did lead earlier by 11. Walker had a good game against Los Angeles in the 4th quarter on Friday night. Williams, that's Freddie really faking the Iceman out. Taken away underneath by whom? It goes out of bounds. It'll belong, they say, to Seattle.
The ball hit the rim in extra time, and it threw the jumping off of the San Antonio defender, and he got a hand on it but knocked it out of bounds.
Walker, this man is usually a good shooter outside. Doesn't get the bounce, and the rebound by Gervin. Dampier bringing it up. Olberding working along with Bristow. Left-handed shooter shovels it up and draws the foul.
He threw that up solely for the 2-shot foul. He felt contact, and then he threw it up. You see, he gets the ball. It's Oberding, gives it to Bristow. He drives right through the middle, feels contact, and just throws it up because he knows the whistle's going to blow for the 2 shots as opposed to taking it out on the side.
Allen at the line. He averages 8.5 points per game, 7 in this series against the Seattle Supersonics. As you see, Dennis Johnson coming back into the ball game, and Gus Williams gets his first blow of the game as he goes out.
And defensively, we'll see a switch. You'll see Dennis Johnson playing the Iceman, Gervin. And it's an inevitable task because to play Gervin is very difficult because he's so big, he can take you underneath, and he's quick enough to handle the ball outside.
You'll note that San Antonio does not pick up Seattle out high. But I have a feeling you'll watch San Antonio on offense. You'll watch Seattle try and pick them up a little higher than they've been doing. Bristow missing it in with a rebound, and an aggressive play is Sickman. That's Dennis Johnson. Boy, he can leap, can he?
He goes to the basket with such authority. What happened on that particular play was the defense never did commit, so he just took it all the way.
We have some final scores in the NBA we'll give to you. Kansas City knocked off Buffalo 122-108.
Here you see Dennis going down the middle. No one commits. He just takes it all the way to the basket for the easy layup.
Now that's Wally Walker with it. Finds his man all alone, and Freddie Brown on a brilliant pass by Wally Walker.
What set that play and made it possible for Brown to score was the excellent pick set by Paul Silas on Dampier.
The lead now is 7 for Seattle. Looks like another capacity crowd here at the Center City Coliseum. Outside with a Dampier. Good rebound, good hustle on the play. Mike Green.
No one boxed him off, and he had free access to the basket. You must concentrate on boxing off your man anytime the ball is shot up.
Green has his first two. His average is 8. He was let go by Seattle. That was one of the front office moves. Foul on the play. He'll go to the line. He'll get 2. George Gervin having some problems with Dennis Johnson.
Dennis gives a good fake, goes to his left with one dribble, gives a head and shoulders fake, gets Gervin off the ground, and with the smart move gets the 2-shot foul.
We have 9:17 remaining in the second quarter. The advantage is 5 to Seattle.
Sit tight, old-timer. I'll take care of it. Let me tell you something, gang. Any gas will get you where you want to go. But it ought to be in there cleaning your carburetor, too. Now, you want to make sure you're getting the job done? Use STP gas treatment. You pump in a can with every tank load of gas, and it goes to work cleaning like a bandit. Clean that carburetor. Get a hold of this, and do it yourself. Keep the change, partner.
Zebco puts it on the line with the Zebco Omega 33 XPL. Smooth, powerful ball-bearing drive, ultra-sensitive drag, and an interchangeable handle for right or left-hand retrieve. The Zebco Omega 33 XPL. Just one of the Zebco Omegas. Made in America by Zebco. The folks you fish with.
Introducing the Kellys. From Fayetteville, North Carolina, the Kelly Passenger Radio. From Cumberland, Maryland, the Kelly Truck Tire. From Tyler, Texas, the Kelly RV Tire. From Freeport, Illinois, the Kelly Farm Tractor Tire. From Cumberland, Maryland, the low-cost 4-ply tire.
For whatever driving you're doing, the Kellys have a tire for you. The Kellys. What a lot.
Tough throughout the line. We're good and tough. We're the Kellys. Rolling, rolling.
Next Sunday at 1:45 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports presents NBA regional action with Portland taking on Philadelphia, Chicago going against Cleveland, Detroit tangling with Milwaukee, and Boston at Seattle. Consult your local listings for the games and time in your area. That's NBA regional action next Sunday.
In the NBA, it is Phoenix at Cleveland, and Phoenix defeated Cleveland 123-112. So the Suns are now 12 games back of Portland. Their record is 43-29. Seattle at 38-31. The Lakers are 37-32, and Golden State 34-36. Dennis Johnson has been the high man in the game. He goes to the line. What a night for Calvin Murphy last night.
Murphy erupted last night for 57 points in a Rocket loss.
So the little teeny guy who shot 24 out of 40, we understand, pumped in 21 in the final period, had his string of 36 straight foul shots broken in the final quarter, was the high man with 57. They've had a lot of injuries with that
With
club.
all the injuries they've had, he's the only real offensive threat that they possess, and it's been unfortunate for that club to sustain so many injuries at one time.
That foul in the active shooting as Mark Oberding went in the back door and beat his man and was fouled as someone picked up on him. The foul to be called against Jack Sikma, so Jack now has 3 fouls. He's going to have to come out of there.
That's a very big foul, yes. They're going to have to take him out and rest him now for a while and let Marvin Webster come back in and play.
So what happened? Excuse me, go ahead, Stu.
What happened was he allowed Oberding to get too deep on that particular play, and once you get the ball in that position on the floor, you're very unstoppable. You're either going to get fouled or you're going to make the basket.
So now it's a 3-point play, a 39-36 situation. That's the score as Mark Oberding makes a 3-point play, averaging 8.5. Picked up from San Diego as he was with the Sails that are no longer in existence, as I'm sure you know. The shot by Wally Walker rushed it a little bit too soon, and here comes San Antonio. They trail by 3 points. Gervin wants to find some room. Dennis Johnson on him. Dampier. That's Green overshooting, tipped up and missed from behind, zoom in by Olberding. Elbows flying underneath now, and the basket is good by Mike Green. Green was given to this club for 2 second-round draft choices. Mike Green formerly played with this team. He's now the backup center, number 23 in the hole. He is 6'10", now picking up Marvin Webster, and a foul away from the ball.
San Antonio has gotten back in this ball game because they have stopped the running game of Seattle. They're pounding the offensive boards, and on the defensive end, they're actually picking up a little bit higher and applying a little bit more pressure to the ball.
That's Silas up against Olberding. Walker moving right to left, runs smack into somebody. It's an offensive foul, and with a bucket here, the Spurs could take the lead.
Silas makes a pass over to Walker, goes to the basket, runs right into Olberding for the offensive charge.
And the big guy had good position at 6'9", 230 out of Minnesota. Bristow going over to Dampier, who had the shot, elected to go over on the left, and no basket. 3-second violation, says Joe Gushu.
One
so
pass.
Gushu calls it.
Excuse me, Jerry. One pass too many. Olberding had great offensive rebound position, did not want to relinquish it. He was hoping that Dampier would take the shot. When Dampier made a pass, he got caught for the violation.
This will be the 4th game. This is the 4th game of the season between these two clubs. Freddie Brown finds the range in the corner. 4 points for Freddie. He averages 17. Against this club, only 9.5.
If he gets to going, it could be an awfully interesting second quarter for Fred Brown.
What a final quarter he had up here the last time CBS was in here. Just turned the game completely around. Olberding finding good position, but hurries his shot. Walker with a rebound, 41-38. 7 minutes and 15 seconds to go. How do you do, Fred Brown over to Dennis Johnson. Walker eludes one man, Briscoe.
That's where Wally Walker is most effective. Just get him the basketball and have a defensive man coming at him a little bit. He can go around him, and he's an excellent shooter.
5-point advantage for Seattle. Gervin, he lets him go to his left hand. He said he turned it over, didn't get the call from Bernie Flyer. Dennis Johnson upset, felt that Gervin turned the ball over.
Yes, Dennis did think that he turned the ball over, but the official did not make the call, so you can't complain about it any further.
6:52 left, second quarter. Seattle leads.
See what's new today.
Last spring, 227 specially equipped Chevy Nova police cars were delivered to the Jacksonville, Florida Sheriff's Department.
Now, that's a tall order, but no surprise, because law enforcement agencies in 47 states have made Chevy Nova America's best-selling police compact. Now, a lot of the things the police look for in a new car are the same things you'd look for in a new car. Reliability, performance, and value. Chevy Nova, a wanted car, now more than ever.
Pro Kids would like you to know there's a movement afoot.
It looks so easy on TV, but it won't come that easily. Then sometimes there's magic, and you've made the perfect play.
America is moving to Pro Kids because Pro Kids are built to run comfortably and as fast as humanly possible.
That moment is so sweet with those Pro Kids on your feet. Pro Kids for all those moments you feel like pro.
Light beer from Miller tastes just great, and that's no fish story. But the best thing is, it's less filling. Light's got 1/3 less calories than their regular beer, and that's important when you're trying to land that big one. Like yesterday, I hooked this bass, fought him for over 6 hours. All of a sudden, he jumps clean over the boat. Broke my rod, and I had to tie the... Now, wait a minute, fellas. I had to tie the line
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Left me out there with nothing but a paddle.
Join hosts Mary Tyler Moore and Walter Cronkite with 120 of CBS's brightest stars for the gala celebration, CBS on the Air.
Phoenix pulling the upset today in Cleveland, knocking off Cleveland. And you see the other scores. Incidentally, those results today bring to the importance, of course, of the playoffs coming up on CBS. We talked about it just prior to the contest tonight. Each Sunday, you'll be seeing CBS bringing you regional basketball. and also all of the championship series this year. You'll watch it right down to the wire. Mark Olberding and Paul Silas battling for the jump ball. Dennis Johnson comes up with it, 43-38, Seattle leading. Dennis Johnson, high man in the game, has 12. 8 points, high man in the game, Mike Gale for San Antonio. Webster going in the hole against Green. Good left-handed hook shot.
That was an excellent move by Marvin Webster. If they could get that consistently out of him, they would be a very tough basketball team.
Now it is 45-38 with 6:20 to go in the second quarter. Excellent move by the Iceman. Rebounded away by Webster, over to Johnson. See how he triggers that fast break. Now Freddie Brown has a big man on him. Bristow at 6'8". Walker. Brown with a magic downtown Freddie Brown, they call it.
Defense in Freddie Brown, the most important thing is never to let him receive the basketball, because once he gets it, you're in a lot of trouble.
Got to play him without the ball, no doubt about it. Gervin with a great move, moves past Johnson.
I think the same thing can be said about George Gervin. Try not to let him receive the basketball. Playing without it and making it extremely difficult for him to receive it, and they may go to someone else.
What's amazing about Gervin is he's third in field goal percentage at 55%, and he plays on the back line.
And some of his shots, the majority of his shots, are from the outside, although he does post up quite a bit.
Freddie Brown really rushed that baby.
That's why they call him downtown Freddie Brown.
Oh, it almost went through the rafters up high. 49-40, the 9-point Seattle lead.
Gervin has an isolation on Dennis Johnson. He's getting ready to take him to the hole. Dennis gets good position. Thought there could have been a charge there. The ball goes off at Gervin's leg, and they give it to Seattle.
Now Johnson on the back line with Freddie Brown. Gervin picking up Johnson. Has 3 inches on him. That is, George does. Wally Walker up against Alan Bristow. Freddie Brown moves past his man, Mike Gale. Walker eludes his man, misses the shot. Webster can't get out the glue pot in time. Can't come up with it, and out of bounds it goes.
But Webster at least kept the ball alive and enabled them to get the ball back again.
So coming out of the game will be George Gervin right now. And coming into the ball game for the first time, James Silas, who has had wheel problems. Had a bad knee. That's Webster trying to make his move, and he travels on the play. Good defense by Billy Paul.
Very good position defense. Webster has the ball isolated on one side, makes a move. Pulse doesn't go anywhere, and Webster drags his feet.
Double screen on the left side. Gale goes to the weak side. Silas now tries to go inside against Freddie Brown. That's Pulse working against Webster. Tipped away by Walker, picked up by Brown. That's Dennis Johnson. He cannot come up with it, and it's out of bounds.
Freddie led him just a little bit too much. I think maybe he should have just maintained possession of the basketball and created a 2-on-1.
The man with the ball now is James Silas, 6'3", 180. He's had all kinds of problems. Longest stint was 17 against Detroit on Wednesday. Hadn't played much because of that bad knee. Freddie Brown over to Walker. 49-40, 4:13 to go. Seattle leading in the game. We are in the second quarter as Marvin Webster misses. Kept up in the air, Silas battling it along with Larry Keenan, and someone committed a foul.
Yes, they caught Paul Silas coming over the top, but that's the thing that he does so effectively. Webster takes the shot. No one is really boxing out Silas, but the ball doesn't come his way, so he goes after it and gets called over the top.
Freddie Brown now picking up Silas. That is Bristow going inside, backdooring it over to Keenan, but I think he traveled. Yes, he did. So it's no basket, a traveling violation called against San Antonio. San Antonio leads the NBA in both field goal percentage, an amazing mark, 50% as a club, and they lead at the foul line as a team with 81%. Some kind of an offensive machine. They trail by 9. You see, he has posted Gale, Dennis Johnson. He'll kill him inside there, Stu.
Yes, you cannot let Dennis receive the ball in that position on the floor because he's so big and so strong. He's either going to get the field goal or the foul. In that particular case, he received the foul.
So that'll be the third team foul. 4 against Seattle, 3 now on San Antonio. It's a shooting foul. Dennis Johnson going to the line. Dennis Johnson at the line at 72.5%. Quite a young man.
of late, Dennis has really just taken over the team. He's running the offense. He's the key to them on defense, and he's been scoring for them. So he's really a major factor in the Seattle Ball Club.
Since Lenny Wilkins made him a starter, they have won 32 out of 46 games. So they are 32-14. Some kind of a record. It's been the difference. Mike Gale. Gale with that right-handed jump shot makes it a 9-point advantage right now for Seattle. Gale has 10 points also, Stu.
Excuse me. Gale doesn't shoot very often, and I think that time he caught Dennis Johnson asleep. You kind of relax a little bit when you have a player that is not really known for his offense.
Wally Walker is on the back of Billy Pulse. Walker being very aggressive in this game.
Shot goes up. No one boxes out again, and here comes Walker, but he goes over the top.
That is the third foul on Wally Walker, and now Lenny Wilkins wants to talk to Freddie Brown. Walker has 3 on him. Also, Jack Sikma has 3 on him. And Len Wilkins, who has just, what a year he has had as an executive in the front office. Lenny Wilkins has made 4 moves acquiring Webster, Silas, and Wise, acquiring Gus Williams, acquiring Johnny Johnson, and Wally Walker. Those 4 moves as a general manager have helped the club, and then he came along as the coach, and I think you hit it on the nose. I am prejudiced because I have worked with Lenny for a year on CBS and have known him for 17 years, but I have to say the facts support the contention that Lenny Wilkins should be the coach of the year this year.
Yes, he should. The rate he's going, he'll be coach of the year, general manager of the year, and anything else that goes for the year.
He could win it all. 51-43, 2:47 to go, second quarter. Johnson, double, triple pumping. That's Marvin Webster. Back over to Freddie Brown.
You can't give them that many shots at the basket. You have got to bear it down defensively, box out, and get the ball.
The Sonics with the ball. Fred Brown whacks it in from the corner. Freddie Brown has come off the bench for Lenny Wilkins and banged in 5 field goals. Out of bounds, and it belongs to Seattle.
Defense. Defense is the name of the game, and Dennis Johnson plays it as good as anyone.
2 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the second quarter. It's Seattle leading by 10.
All across our land, people know our brand. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Spark plugs by AC.
Hear that, men? You can trust AC spark plugs. And remember AC filters to help protect your engine from dirt and dust. Right, Ben? Ben? Heads!
Drive through dirt and dust. Good filters are a must.
You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Filters by AC. Plugs and filters by AC.
Listen up, team. It's a long ride to Hog Flats.
Yeah, all day long. So Starch is going to pass out the Right Guard deodorant.
We got stick or spray.
With Right Guard deodorant, stick or spray protects all day. They don't just cover up odor, they help stop odor before it starts.
All day long.
And it's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
Right Guard deodorant. Don't get dressed without it.
Coming or going on a business trip, you've got no time to waste. And nobody knows that better than Hertz. Whether it's picking up or dropping off your Ford or other fine car, nobody has more to do it faster.
Go, OJ, go! Getting you in, getting you out with super speed. Hertz, the superstar in rent-a-car. Hertz, the superstar in rent-a-car.
You know it.
Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, Challenge of the Sexes features a parallel skiing challenge with world-class skiers Joseph Odermatt and Susan Korak. A skateboard challenge with Ernie Martin going against one of the best female freestyle competitors, Robin Logan. Plus a table tennis competition. That's Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern.
In Seattle, Washington. This guy moves well to his right, Stu Lance.
Yes, he does. I tell you, he'd be hard to stop on a fast break.
No doubt about it. He is known as the Wheedle, and he is a symbol of the children's cartoon series here, the mascot also of the Seattle Supersonics. He's had a great year. It is 53-43, the lead of 10 to the team in white, the Seattle Supersonics. Marvin Webster at the foul line is short with it, as you see, and Billy Pulse with a rebound tosses it away. What a year it's been for Sam Shulman, the fine owner of the Supersonics in the NBA. I think one of the biggest wins had to be, Stu, that victory in Inglewood on Friday night for one big reason, psychologically, to the Seattle team playing in Los Angeles.
It lets them know that they can win in Los Angeles. But even more importantly, when you get into that short series in the playoffs, the home court advantage. And now if they can just maintain that lead over Los Angeles, they'll have the home court advantage. And it's not mandatory to win it on the opponent's home floor if you win that first game at home yourself.
Well, of course, that first series would be 2 out of 3 if they finish the way they are now. Foul call as Dennis Johnson makes his move. 53-43. The score is the same. Seattle leading by 10.
Fred Brown makes a good pass to Dennis Johnson, who receives good position on the floor down deep, and he's so strong. He takes it up, but he's hit on the wrist by a couple of guys.
Lauren Hostek, my fine statistician to our right, informs me that's the 3rd foul picked up by Billy Paul, so that one will hurt San Antonio. And Doug Moe will have to get somebody up on the bench and bring him in, and it looks like it's Mike Green coming back into the ball game, number 23. In this series, it's interesting to note that when Coach Bob Hopkins was here, Seattle lost by 18 points in Seattle in November. Wilkins took over. They lost by 6 in San Antonio, and then won on March 8th here by 1 point. So it's 2-1 in the season series. San Antonio leading Seattle. And Dennis Johnson is at the foul line.
The game they won in San Antonio, the Spurs were leading by 3 with 21 seconds to play and lost the basketball game as the Iceman missed 2 consecutive free throws with 13 seconds to play.
Dennis Johnson is now 8 out of 9 from the line, has 16 points, and the lead is 12. 1:25 left to go in the first half. Seattle's on top. Larry Keenan gets inside and a foul on the play. Seattle is now 9 out of 10 from the foul line, and San Antonio is 7 out of 10.
Silas picks up his dribble, makes a good pass over to Keenan, who gets good penetration. Webster comes over, makes him change his shot a little bit, and then on the rebound, there's call for over the back foul.
Foul will be called on Bristow. So Wally Walker goes to the line. Both teams have won 2 in a row. Seattle at home under Wilkins, 19-3. Wally Walker, who oddly enough shoots very poorly at the foul line. This is quite an enigma. A 44% shooter from the field, 59.5% at the foul line. Incredible.
It's hard to pinpoint. I don't think anyone knows exactly what the reason for it is. Maybe lack of concentration, or maybe going to the line a little stiff.
He is a fine shooter. He'll improve. Perhaps he gets over those early years in the NBA. This, of course, is second year. #1 draft choice of Portland, Wally Walker. That foul on the play is called against Freddie Brown.
Here Silas has Freddie isolated on the top of the circle, makes a couple of good moves, goes up for the shot, and Fred Brown hits him on the arm for the foul.
James Silas at the line from Stephen F. Austin, 29, a free agent. Now in his 6th year, had that big knee operation, surgery, cut by Houston. Surgery last November. Has never really been able to come back, Stu.
Before the operation, he was one of the finest guards to play the basketball game. He was an excellent player, but he's been slowed up with that injury.
You don't realize how difficult it is to play in the NBA until you see a career cut short like that.
Injuries have been known to do it.
Well, you had one on your back, didn't you? That
caused me to
retire.
retire.
For you, yeah, for the Lakers. Sat out a whole year, didn't you?
Yes, the entire season.
Now it is 59-45 with 38 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Seattle on defense leading. Good rebound underneath, taken off by San Antonio, and a foul call on the play. Don't forget, at halftime, you'll be watching the horse competition, and of course, Jimmy the Greek will come along to bring you some pearls of wisdom in the world of sports. That's all upcoming right here on CBS.
Webster, 1 plus the penalty shot.
59-45, 33 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Marvin Webster is at the line, averaging 14.5 points a game. He's their 3rd leading scorer. He has now gone 1 for 2 from the line, looks for his 8th point. Webster had contractual problems at Denver, and he becomes a free agent at the end of this year. There are those who feel he may go to New York, but I'm going to guess he'll end up staying right here.
There's quite a few players becoming free agents at the end of the year. Whether they'll travel to different teams remains to be seen.
This is a good club. Lenny Wilkins talking with us before the game, saying he has a group of young people on this team who like each other and who play well as a unit. You see the time remaining in the first half. 60-45 Seattle. Now they lead 62-45. Bruce Seals gets his first 2 points of the game. That's the end of the first half. And at the end of the first half, and coming up with more action in the CBS horse competition, it'll be John Drew of Atlanta going against Phil Chenier of the Washington Bullets. The horse competition coming up right now at the end of one half of play.
You flew in this morning, and you've crammed 3 days' work into one. Now it's late. You're on your own. That's when you'll really appreciate Hilton Rainbow Service. We've got more ways to be friendly, more ways to entertain you, more ways to relax you, more ways to make you feel at home when home's still a plane ride away.
Honey, I'm on the morning flight.
Let the Hilton Rainbow brighten your day.
I'm fixing up your house, Bozo, with tough paint this time. Right there.
To Malibu.
Malibu. Malibu.
Malibu.
Looks like a large slice of America is going to Malibu. Chevy's new size, quick size, mid-size car that's so right in so many ways for so many people right now. You'd think it had been designed by Mr. John Q. Public himself. It's you, America. A fresh new slice of apple pie called Chevy Malibu.
A fresh new slice of apple pie from Chevrolet to you.
You're gonna eat it up.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. The beer will pour.
Innkeeper, a ration of Lowenbrow for me and my men.
Lowenbrow? You guys finally win a race?
Oh, yeah, we found the secret. We lashed Joe to the mast so we couldn't fall overboard. You guys, I tell you.
When you want the taste of a truly great beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
You know the best part about sailing? Yeah, this part.
Let it be Lowenbrow.
Hi, everyone. I'm Don Criqui, and this year at halftime on CBS coverage of NBA basketball, we have some of the top players in the league matched up in the old schoolyard game of horse, where a player must duplicate his opponent's shots or be assessed a penalty letter. 5 misses means 5 letters. That spells horse, and he's out. Today we have John Drew of the Atlanta Hawks matched up against Phil Chenier of Washington. And for more on the rules, here's Mendy Rudolph.
The basic rules of horse are as follows. The player in control must describe his shot beforehand. Now, 2 consecutive shots from the same area are not allowed unless someone moves at least 5 feet away. There are trick shots allowed. However, the same trick shot cannot be attempted more than once in the contest. The flip of the coin will determine who goes first. Now, there's going to be disputes out there, and if there are, my word will be the final judge.
Phil Chenier wins the toss, and he elects to open up with the jump shot. And the advantage goes to John Drew, who calls an under-the-leg shot, which he gets down.
See that? Let's take a look at it, Phil.
Here we are in slow motion. Big John Drew at 6'7", 215 with excellent body control. Gets the ball up and off the board and down, and Chenier has to match it.
What'd you do, go from your left to your right? Huh?
Okay, Philly?
Chenier's only 27 years old, but already in his 7th year in the NBA. Out of Cal at Berkeley, and the first letter goes up on Phil Chenier.
Down the middle, underneath.
John's going to do some more of this underneath stuff. A little awkward, but he got it in.
No, buddy. Oh, for Chenier.
One hand, underhand.
John Drew's staying with the trick shots here. Phil Chenier hasn't seen a regular shot yet, and Drew's making him work.
All right. R for Chenier.
Behind. behind my back in.
Behind his back and in.
Hey, Mindy, I have to try the other side? I have to go to the other side, try this way.
No, you tried this side. You got to go to the other side now. It's another shot.
But it's a different shot, though. I'm just going behind my back.
Different shot, not under the leg?
No.
Go ahead.
Who's on first? That'll work.
A backward shot.
John Drew isn't only one of the better scorers in the league, he's one of the better talkers. He talks to everybody during the game, including the press row. John's liable to try that shot in the game sometime. He put up anything and usually make it.
And John Drew picks up the first letter H. Phil Chenier.
All right. Stop.
There is the money shot of Phil Chenier, what's made him one of the best backcourt players in the league. The jump shot. And now he gets 2 quick letters on Drew.
John Drew picks up the second letter. Oh. Hold it, Phil.
Okay. Okay, from the corner.
And the advantage is back now to John Drew, who has a 3 letters to 2 lead.
Off the glass from the corner. Now you gotta go off the glass.
Drew keeps on talking.
With an S.
So right now, John Drew's 1 letter away from closing out Phil Chenier.
Off the glass.
Big guy from Gardner-Webb banks it in, and Phil Chenier must match it up or go out.
Off the glass, yeah, off the glass.
That's it.
That will do it. Phil Chenier goes out at the expense of John Drew, so Drew advances here at the Omni International Complex in Atlanta, where the horse competition is staged this year. Let's meet the winner. All right, here is John Drew, a local favorite here in Atlanta. And, John, you went way down into your bag of tricks to win this one.
Well, I feel that the person that's going to win this whole thing is the person that got a lot of stuff. And I feel that I can compete with anybody else for his tricks and things of this sort.
Well, you had a lot of stuff. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Don.
John Drew of the Atlanta Hawks. A loser in the first round receives a check for $500. The winner, of course, advances. Join us next week when Maurice Lucas goes against Phil Smith.
Here in Seattle, Washington, it's the Supersonics 62, the San Antonio Spurs 45. The NBA on CBS will return after this word from your local station.
The sinister figure of Cunningham continues to stalk Captain Nemo and his crew in this Wednesday's thrilling chapter here on CBS.
At the conclusion of today's game in each of our NBA telecasts during the season, we'll be selecting the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game. In conjunction with this award, Chevrolet will present a check for $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of the player's college or university. Any student may be eligible to benefit from these scholarship funds. Today's winner will be announced at the end of our telecast. Stu Lance, you and I will be voting for the MVP. Should we disagree, our producer, Tom O'Neill will cast the deciding vote. Brent Musburger is standing by with Jimmy the Greek in Philadelphia. Let's join them for some inside sports information on the Greek's grapevine.
Time now to check in with our favorite Greek. Jimmy, what do you hear about Roy Bowe's efforts to save the New York Nets?
Well, he's in the same trouble he's been 2 or 3 times before, and he saved it by selling his big asset, like
Julius Erving to Philadelphia.
Right, so this time he'll probably sell Bernard King or his 3rd draft choice, and after Bird and Ford, you've got Michael Thompson left.
All right, now, Jimmy, what about the Auburn basketball program? Reports of trouble down there.
Well, Bob Davis resigned, the coach resigned, so there's some alleged, supposedly illegal violations, and I'm afraid the NCAA will probably set Auburn down.
Jimmy, O.J. Simpson, is Buffalo still testing the NFL waters, may trade him?
Every team that he possibly can trade him to. Their asking price is 2 first draft choices and 2 seconds. By the way, O.J. doesn't like the front line of the 49ers.
Any other trades?
There is another one, a tight end from Los Angeles. There's a lot of talk about him being traded, and don't forget he's from Southern California.
Which tight end?
Charlie Young.
Oh, well, Southern California, that means John McKay down in Tampa must be interested.
Definitely. Who else?
America has all kinds of drivers, so it's a good thing America has Quaker State motor oil. Because even if you drive like this, Quaker State helps cars last. Fact is, you can help avoid expensive engine repairs by using Quaker State regularly. Refined from Pennsylvania-grade crude oil, Quaker State helps cars last. Maybe that's why Quaker State's the best-selling motor oil in America.
Spring. It only comes once a year. If you want a nice, thick lawn, now's the time to do something about it. Give your lawn some Scott's Turf Builder right now. Turf Builder helps grass send off new branches, either tillers or rhizomes. This forms new grass plants that'll thicken up your lawn and fill in those thin spots. But don't wait. Before you know it, spring will be gone.
Cicely Tyson for Color Track by RCA.
My rose is red, my skin is dark brown, and my dress is bright orange. If these colors don't look right to you, you should know about Color Track from RCA. Getting the color right is what Color Track is all about. It actually adjusts the colors and locks them on track.
Before you see the Color Track system grabs it, aligns it, defines it, sharpens it, tones it, and locks the color on track.
RCA is making television better and better.
Okay, big green tea. If National's going to be the best car rental company, we have got to hustle. Schultz, the last reservation call.
9 seconds, sir.
Walsh, green light service means?
Fast service, sir.
Willoughby, before we rent this new Chevy, we check all 10 items on the maintenance checklist. And then we sign it. Sir. Okay, team, let's go.
10,000 people working for you. The big green team.
Willoughby.
We're National Car.
Do you ever get the feeling that you're not really appreciated? Hi, I'm Mindy Rudolph, and I found a place where you can get appreciation and thanks. Now, I'm talking about your local United Way agencies, where the pledge you made to United Way is working year-round in hundreds of agencies and programs like this. Helping out here can really make you feel pretty tall. On behalf of all the little guys everywhere, I'd like to say thanks to you, it works, for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Basketball Association. The NBA on CBS is sponsored by all the new 1978 Chevrolets, now at your Chevy dealers everywhere. The Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by Old Spice, stick deodorant, or new antiperspirant.
It's a 62-45 lead right now for Seattle and Stu Lance. Seattle is doing everything well. They're shooting well. They're playing good defense. They're running well. And a man who's had a pretty good afternoon so far would be the fellow on the back line we talked about and our fine director highlighted at the start of the program, and that would be Dennis Johnson.
Dennis has had a very good first half. He's got 4 offensive rebounds out of the 5 total that he has. He's got 16 points. He's been to the free throw line 9 times in the first half. But I think the major factor in the first half was the rebounding statistics, where Seattle had 27-15 for the Spurs.
No question about it. They've dominated the boards, and of course it's interesting with the playoff situation now. That Detroit-Chicago game was a big one, as Chicago in that one, and Detroit, we announced it earlier, Chicago lost by the 112-92 score. The team scoring, the Sonics, individually speaking, as we said, Dennis Johnson 4 for 10, 16 in 22 minutes, chipped in with 4 assists also. 13 minutes of action. Freddie Brown came off the bench, 6 for 10. He had a total of 12 points. Looking over at San Antonio, their leading scorer has been Mike Gale, 4 out of 7, 17 minutes. He had 10 points. Kobe Dietrich had a total of 3 assists in the game. And with regard to their other leading scorers, no one really hitting well for San Antonio. 3 for 5, Dietrich, 3 out of 8 for Keenan, Paltz 3 for 8. The halftime statistics we talked about, the advantage going, of course, to the Sonics in shooting, and quite a big margin there, and primarily because of a lot of drive shots.
Well, they've been playing the good defense, and the good defense leads you into fast break opportunities, and that means layups. And when you have to come down and set up every time, you're going to rely a lot on the jump shots from the perimeters.
The Supersonics on Friday, they came back against the Los Angeles Lakers down by 11 points. They socked it to them. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was upset. He threw his goggles on the floor. Very upset about the turn of events, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 43 minutes had 17 rebounds, 31 points, unable to do it as his team lost, as Paul Silas was a factor in that one. Paul, coming off the bench, had something like 12 rebounds in the game. Matter of fact, he had 14 in only 33 minutes, and he's been a big addition, Stu Lance, to this Seattle club.
Very big addition. On that turnover just now, Webster thought the ball was going to someone else, when in actuality it was going to him, and he let it go.
Gervin was the leading scorer with 6 points in the second quarter. For San Antonio, Gervin has not had a good game. He's only 2 out of 5 in 15 minutes with 6 points. That's Gus Williams between the legs, gets a big man on him. Rebounded by Webster. We have a 62-45 lead. Seattle blowing them out early here in the third quarter. Could be anyone's game. The San Antonio club can run, however, as Gale brings it up.
Big leads, excuse me, Jerry, big leads in the NBA are dangerous because you lose concentration, you get away from the things that got you the lead, and consequently you let the other teams fight back and get right back into the game.
Sigma, knowing he has 3 fouls on him, could not really get inside the vest of Billy Paltz on the turnaround jump shot. Now it's 9 points for Paltz, and it is 62-47. Johnny Johnson has had an incredible game. Johnson has not played too much. Only played about 13 minutes. He's had 8 points. Now he has 4 out of 6 from the floor.
Lenny tries to play as many people as possible, keeping them all fresh.
Good play by Gervin as he finds Paltz underneath. Note how Gervin likes to go right to left when he makes a drive.
Well, when you're moving right to left on the drive, being a right-hander, you don't have to square up to shoot quickly. You can, because your right hand is facing the basket.
And with 10 minutes and 18 seconds to go, it's 64-49 third quarter. Johnson against Gervin outside. That is Gus Williams. Rebounded underneath by Kobe Dietrich. Here's Gervin bringing it up. Going to try and get his team going. Looks for the screen. Wants to go baseline. Double team by Webster, and a great play by Webster, enabling Williams with a steal. He obviously did not see Johnny Johnson.
No, he didn't, and he took it all the way down, made the good play, but here again, it's the defense that got that layup going.
See what's new today.
Introducing the third generation Monte Carlo. The third generation of a highly successful personal luxury car. Its highly original styling opens new dimensions in affordable luxury and in comfort. With more rear seat headroom, legroom, and hip room than last year's Monte Carlo, the third generation Monte Carlo. Drive it and put a little distance between yourself and the crowd.
You work the dock.
docks. Without you, nothing moves. The ships are too big, the loads are too heavy, and the days are too long. But every day, you do it. And when the sun finally drops into the cold water, another ship with a full belly heads out for sea. And you head in for Miller Time. Miller Time. Time to relax with the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer. Miller tastes too good to hurry through. If you've got the time.
Sunday, don't miss. It's the Easter Beagle Charlie Brown. Followed by the first Easter Rabbit. The fun starts Sunday at 8, 7 Central in Mountain.
Stu Lance, let's watch George Gervin against Dennis Johnson.
Well, the double team comes in. Generally, when someone double teams, someone's open. But Webster impaired the vision of Gervin. He never saw Gus Williams sliding over to get the steal, taking it all the way down for the layup.
No foul on the play, and so little Gus Williams, who came over from Golden State, was a free agent. Williams now has pumped in 8 points, and the lead is 66-49. 9 minutes and 43 seconds, lots of time left. San Antonio is going to have to shake themselves. They've had their game taken away from them so far this afternoon. Gale has been hot. Mike Gale hitting outside. He's 5 out of 8 now. 12 points in the game for Mike.
Gale's going to have to continue to hit that outside shot because when Gervin makes his move, they're double teaming him, and he has to hit the open man, which is generally Gale, so he's going to have to continue to hit that shot.
He finds Dietrich, but Dietrich misses it, battles for the rebound, and may have fouled Jack Sikma. Yes, he did.
He tried to avoid the charge initially. Gale has the ball, gives a good pass in the middle. He tries to avoid the charge, changes hands, misses it, and then goes over the top and draws the foul.
San Antonio, they have won 2 in a row, and both of them on the road. They're not a bad road club at all. Matter of fact, their record is 16-18 on the road. That's third best in the NBA. Portland and Philadelphia, 1-2. That's George Gervin. Now it is 66-53. The lead has gone back to 13 points. One time at halftime, the score was 62-45. So the lead was 17. It's been cut back now. The lead is 13 points. Marvin Webster over to Williams. Back over to Webster as picking him up was Pulse on the play, traveling no basket.
Webster has the ball at the top of the key, tries to make a drive on Pulse. Throws a pass in the corner to Gus Williams, who returns the favor, and the officials call traveling on the play.
And the ball sails out of bounds at midcourt, and they're going to turn the ball back now to Seattle with 8.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. This is Seattle's best year in the last 6 years, and not since Lenny Wilkins was the player coach in 71 and 72 have they had a better year. So Wilkins has been a vital part of the success of this franchise. That is the third foul on George Gervin.
Dennis makes a pass, receives the ball back, and takes a very quick first step, and George puts both hands on him for the holding foul.
66-53, 8:24 left to go. We're in the third period of action in Seattle, Washington. Capacity crowd again. They've even opened this one up in this area to television. Johnny Johnson. Oh, great body control and ball control on that one, Stu.
Now there's a situation where he had the ball for an awful long time individually. The defense should have come over and make him get rid of the basketball.
Good point, Stu. They did not. He went one-on-one. Rebounded by Marvin Webster. 7:59 to go in the third period. The lead is back up to 15 points. Look at Sikma hustle on that play. Jack Sikma.
Johnny Johnson takes the shot, misses. No one boxes out. Sikma comes on, gets the offensive rebound, and stuffs it back through.
Boy, he almost tore the net off of that one. And for the rookie, Jack Sikma, he has now pumped in a total of 8 points. Seattle will come back with the ball again. 7 minutes and 42 seconds to go. The lead is up to 17. A bucket here, and they could have their biggest lead of the afternoon.
The game is a long way from over, but San Antonio is going to definitely have to pick up their defense. They're going to have to just say, let's go out and get the job done, because Seattle is playing very good basketball at this point, and if they continue to let them go like this, we could see a real runaway.
Sigma now has 10 points, and the lead is the biggest, 19 points, 7:17 to go. We're in the third quarter. Great block by Dennis Johnson at 6'4". How do you do behind the back, Johnny Johnson? He's fouled in the active shooting. He'll go to the line and get two, as Olberding caught him, and Dennis Johnson is all right.
Johnny Johnson comes down with a little wrap around the back pass to Gus Williams, pulls up for the little jumper, misses, but there's Dennis Johnson, the ever-present Dennis Johnson, to get it, gets the foul to go to the free throw line again. He is always where the ball is, and that's the mark of a smart and good basketball player.
The executive vice president and the general manager of this club now, Zali Valchuk, down to our right, is rather pleased. Sam Schulman is not here, attending to business in Los Angeles, where the Supersonics have merged with another company down there on a business transaction, and he watched the ball game in Los Angeles the other night. So he has stayed down there on business, no doubt watching this telecast, and it is 73-53, the lead of 20 right now for his team, Seattle.
There's a situation where you get beat defensively and you try to make up for it by reaching in, and more times than none, the official will call you for that reach-in foul.
6 minutes, 54 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The lead is 20 for Seattle.
A poem about deodorants. Roll, roll the roll-on, all sticky and wet. Or spray your underarm. What a fog you'll get. So give me the stick, Old Spice deodorant stick. It goes right to the spot. All wet or foggy, it's not. It guards against odor the whole day long. With Old Spice freshness, you cannot go wrong. So goodbye roll-on, so long spray. Old Spice stick, it's the only way.
Old Spice stick.
We're good and tough, we're the Kellys.
The Kellys have a way to save gasoline from the ground up. A steel-belted radial called the Kelly gas pincher. When we tested a set of gas pinchers against our non-radials, the gas pincher pinched from 14.5 up to 31.7 more miles out of a tank of gas. That's hundreds of more miles a year with the gas pinchers.
We're the Kellys. Rolling, 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 rolling.
Guilty.
Not guilty. 6 votes guilty, 6 votes not guilty.
Not again.
This could go on all day. Bailiff! Pass out the right guard deodorant.
Good.
We got stick or spray.
With right guard, stick or spray protects all day. They don't just cover up odor, they help stop odor before it starts. All day.
6 took stick, 6 took spray. It's unanimous.
Right guard deodorant. Don't get dressed without it.
On April 8th and 9th, CBS Sports proudly presents The Masters from the Augusta National Golf Club. This will mark our 23rd year of exclusive live coverage of this prestigious event. That's The Masters, April 8th and 9th.
It has been a remarkable afternoon, and this has been the man who's done it all. Stu, when you played with the various clubs you did in the NBA, if I recall, you moved well without the ball. You were an excellent scorer, but this man today has done it all.
Generally, when you are running the offense like he is doing, you don't score that many points because you're looking for your other players, etc. But today and in the past, Dennis has been running the show. He's the leader on defense, and he still scores points because he goes to that offensive board, gets the ball, and gets fouls.
And he has limited the leading scorer in the NBA, George Gervin, to 8 points while scoring 17. So he has been a big man. Of course, he gives him that outside shot now, and Gervin missed it. It's a 20-point lead. Look at him go to the hoop. Oh, what a difference in this club. Once they traded off after 5 straight losses, Slick Watts, then they went to the back line of Gus Williams in this, and Dennis Johnson. They have moved.
Dennis gets the ball on the wing, takes it to the middle where most fast breaks should be run from. No one commits again. He goes down the middle, gets fouled, and goes to the line again.
Foul called against Mike Gale. So that'll be his third. Pulse has 3. And also Gervin has 3, along with Sigma and Walker. And Dennis Johnson right now is 10 for 12 at the foul line.
When you get to the free throw line that number of times, you're putting an awful lot of pressure on the opponents.
He is the number 2 man in blocked shots on this club also. So he's quite a versatile young man. Diving for the ball, missing it, Johnson. That's Paultz with a dunk. Billy Paultz.
Now that particular basket, Coach Wilkins can't be too displeased because the effort of a couple of his players to dive on the floor after the loose ball is pleasing to him.
You know, Stu, we've been raving about Seattle and the great year they're having. San Antonio behind Doug Moe. If they win this afternoon, they would equal all of last year. And their magic number now is 3 with New Orleans for a playoff berth, and the magic number is 8 with Washington to clinch the #1 spot in the Central Division. They've had a fine year.
They're having an excellent year. Their record should speak for itself. It's just one of those games today where they haven't been able to execute the way they want to. They haven't run well because they haven't been on the boards as effectively.
5 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in the third period. The lead is 24 Seattle. You see the team in black. That is San Antonio. Mark Olberding going over to, I believe that's Larry Keenan banging that one in. He's got 8 points. So the two leading scorers have been limited to 16 total points. Gervin, who averages 27.5, and Keenan, who averages 20.5. They have not gotten much offense from those big men. That's Jack Sikma really battling underneath, and a foul.
The referee is calling kicking the basketball. It was an accidental kick. The fans here don't appreciate the call, but as you see there, it did hit his foot.
Jack Sikma, known as the banger here in this area. Gervin with a fine feed over to Paultz, who plays the boards very well.
Gervin is hitting the open man because once he makes his initial move to the basket, he is being double teamed. He is hitting the open man.
San Antonio's had 11 turnovers, good for 12 total Seattle points. Seattle has had 12 turnovers, good for a total of 11 points to San Antonio. The lead has changed hands 6 times. The score has been tied only twice. Seattle now leads 75-59. Webster making a move, pulling up with a fine effort.
That was in a particularly good move by the center, stopping on a dime, so to speak, and going up for the good jump shot.
That from a man at 7'1", 240 pounds. Marvin Webster. Oh, there's a lot of action underneath the boards on that one, Stu.
A lot of action.
Bodies around left and right under there.
Keenan is isolated on the side with Johnny Johnson, goes up for the shot. The shot fails. There you see a little push by Marvin Webster. It wasn't as bad as it looked on the film. There was a lot of acting on that particular play.
Marvin gets caught with his first foul. That's Paultz trying to get hot from outside. Oberding really hustling underneath. San Antonio retains it. Look at those bodies go up. You talk about contact in the NBA. This is a physical sport, and a foul on the play.
Gale takes the shot, misses, but the Spurs are all over the board. Gervin gets the rebound, goes up, and is fouled. You can't give a team 3 attempts at the basket and expect to come away without something more than 2 points or some free throws.
Now the player representative in the NBA, number 35, Paul Silas, back in the game. Dennis Johnson committed the foul. Johnson has 2 fouls, 3 against Seattle, 4 against San Antonio, and the Iceman is there.
Silas is into the game for one reason. The last couple of times down, the Spurs have gotten 2 and 3 shots. Coach Wilkins has said that's enough. Let's put my rebounder in the game and limit the offensive rebounds for the opponents.
George Gervin now has pumped in 11 points. He has been hot lately. He has been shooting hot lately, but not so effectively in this game. Williams misses. Silas is there with 1 rebound. Webster is fouled on the left side by Mark Olberding. So Olberding cracked him.
Gets his 3rd personal 5-team foul.
Gus has the ball, tries to go around and pick, goes the opposite way, misses a little left-hand layup. Silas keeps the ball alive again and enables Webster to go to the free throw line for 2.
Mark just caught him with a hand right there, and at the line it is Marvin Webster. Webster had hepatitis, kidney ailment. He came from Denver, along with Paul Silas and Willie Wise for Tom Burleson and Bobby Wilkerson, and a number 2 of Seattle's also. Webster now has 12 points in the ball game, 79-61. The lead of 18 with 4:05 to go. It is cut down to 16 with 4 minutes flat to go in the game's third period. Still anyone's game. A lead such as this, remember, a couple of weeks ago, Seattle was down by 17 in the 4th quarter and came back to win. That's Gus Williams with that fine move. He's got 10 points. These two clubs can run. Gervin trying to get hot. Does not get the roll. Good effort by Larry Keenan, and he does not get the roll either. Mike Gale got hit on top of the noggin.
The ball goes up. You see Keenan gets the offensive rebound, takes it back up, and they call a foul.
Now they are administering to Mike Gale, who was hit on the head. You see Freddie Brown talking with Lenny Wilkins. They're going over to talk with him is the San Antonio trainer, Bernie LaRue. Bernie LaRue is a man who owns a worm farm. Makes a living on worms in Texas. That's the trainer. Now you see Mike Green coming into the game. Billy Pauls comes out. Man with a mustache is the trainer, Bernie LaRue. Was in the ABA. And Mike Gale is going to come out. Gale, averaging 9 points a game, has had 12.
Coach Mo is substituting. He puts Green in. He's trying to look for a combination that can do a little bit better of a job today. The combination that he has starting the ball game thus far hasn't played that well together.
Well, Dampier's going to have to get hot outside and loosen up the entire defense. Gervin made a good move. One of the few times he has gone to his right. Ernie Fryer says he charged on the play, and that's his 4th foul.
That's a big foul.
That is.
Because George is not having a good offensive day, but with the talent that he has, just his presence in the game, you know he can get started at any time. But with 4 fouls, it's going to limit his playing time a little.
He does a lot of things well. He leads the guards in the NBA in block shots. And he normally, well, in the last 38 games coming into this one, Gervin had been hitting an incredible 59.5%. That's in the last 38 games, number 44. But he has not been that effective this afternoon. Here's Dampier. You cannot give him room because he can really whack from outside.
If they can get him the ball and let him start shooting, he can hurt them.
San Antonio is going to have to bounce back. Dampier is down, and a foul on the play. There's Louis.
Johnson comes down. No one commits again. He goes all the way to the basket, misses the shot, gets his own rebound, takes it up, draws the foul.
Foul is on Larry Keenan. We have a timeout coming up for the Seattle Supersonics. We have 2 minutes and 56 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Both teams are now in foul trouble, and Seattle has the lead.
Enjoying the trip in your GM car?
Oh, yes.
Want to keep that great GM feeling?
Oh, yes.
Then shake hands with Mr. Goodwrench. He's dedicated to improved customer care at more than 6,000 participating GM dealers.
You want genuine GM parts. You want your car fixed right on time. That's what I want, too. Caring about your GM car helps keep me in business.
Keep that great GM feeling with genuine GM parts.
Homeward bound, coast of New England.
You got 6'2" feet. 6'2" feet.
The Navy. See a recruiter or call toll-free. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
New around here? Sure got a nice motorcycle.
Oh, it's a new Honda Hawk Honda-matic.
Honda-matic?
No clutch.
No clutch. Well, beautiful wheels.
They're standard.
How does a little lady handle it?
Oh, new weight distribution. It feels light.
Someday I'd love to...
Yes?
Ride it.
Well, then go see your Honda dealer.
When you're on a Honda, you're really going strong.
Next Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports presents live the PGA Tour's 10th annual Sea Pines Heritage Classic with a strong field shooting for the title. That's next Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern.
We are back here in Seattle as the Supersonics have turned it all around. John McDonough, our director, along with the excellent work of our producer here in Seattle, Tom O'Neill. That's Joe Gashu, veteran NBA official, handing the ball to Johnny Johnson. Johnny Johnson has scored 10 points. At the foul line, this is his first endeavor of the afternoon. I'm Jerry Gross along with Stu Lance, and we welcome you aboard. It's 81-65, Seattle leading San Antonio.
A big lead like this against San Antonio, though, is not a sure thing because the offensive power they do have, they can erupt at any minute and make this a very interesting ball game at the finish.
18 out of 22 for Seattle. 19 out of 23 from the foul line. San Antonio at the foul line is hitting 11 out of 14. 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go, third quarter. 83-65. Both teams in foul trouble. That's George Gervin trying to go to his right side, going baseline, hitting Louis Dampier, who normally will pop that shot easily. Got a lot of time. An 18-point lead for Seattle. Freddie Brown, who had a great second quarter, knocked out of bounds by one of the men in black. It'll belong to Seattle. You see the men in foul trouble. George Gervin with 4. Sigma and Walker are playing for Seattle. Now San Antonio down 82-65. Trying to cut the gap a little. Looked like a Julius Erving move momentarily. A foul called on Freddie Brown as he reached in. Gervin will go to the line. It's a shooting foul with 2:14 to go. The 5th team foul against Seattle.
Here you see Gervin receive the ball. Freddie Brown reaches in for the steal and hits him right on the elbow for the foul.
George Gervin going to the foul line. Fought from Virginia, used to be a forward, now a guard. The last 5 games, he's been averaging 31.5 points a game. Sigma coming back into the ball game, and Marvin Webster coming out. Webster, 1 foul on him. Sigma, 3 fouls on him. Gervin now gives his team 13 out of 16 from the foul line, and he's got 15 points, limited to 1 point by Dennis Johnson in the first period. 2 minutes and 5 seconds to go, 82-67. Third quarter, Seattle leading. That's Johnny Johnson. Sigma behind a man, trying to tip it up. The ball taken away now. It's stolen right out of the hands by Dennis Johnson. Stolen out of the hands, I believe, of the Iceman.
There's Dennis Johnson, always around the ball. Paul Silas initially kept it alive 2 or 3 times with taps. The Spurs got possession, but Dennis stole it, but there was a 3-second violation on the steal.
3-second violation. So it turns it over, and now with that 4-man weave outside, stolen away by Paul Silas on a bad Gervin pass. Freddie Brown brings it up. 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining, third quarter. Gervin at 6'7", remember, playing on that back line against 6'4", number 24, Dennis Johnson. Had a good idea. Mike Green missing the shot. Sigma with a rebound. He's fouled. It'll be a backcourt foul.
The Sonics are hitting the boards. They're doing everything right today. There you see Mike Green picks up the loose ball in the lane, goes up for the shot, misses. Jack Sigma goes up, gets the rebound, definitely has possession, and is fouled in the backcourt.
And the foul is on this man, George Gervin. It's his 5th foul. He's going to come out of the game. The Spurs are going to have to start to shoot a little better. Going into the game, they're trying to become only the 2nd team in NBA history to shoot better than 50% from the floor on the year. The record's 51%, coming in Wally Walker by Milwaukee back in '71. And on the road in the last 3 games, they've shot 55.5%, but not so this afternoon.
Well, Gervin isn't having a good game, but when the season's as long as it is, you're going to expect games like this. You know, you're not perfect. No one is perfect. Every player has a game like this.
Biggest lead has been 20 points by Seattle. San Antonio trying to come back. Mark Olberding missing the 15-footer. That's Larry Keenan. 1 minute, 3 seconds remaining, third quarter, 84-69. The action in the Seattle Center Coliseum. They're going to move into a new building coming up. They're going to move into the Kingdome in Seattle next year.
Jack Sigma just made a shot out where the air is thin, as we used to say, where the guards shoot from, and Sigma at 6'10" or so put it down nicely.
The big guy's got 14. What a great draft pick that was by the then general manager, Glenn Wilkins. Some kind of a move by Larry Keenan. You see the time remaining in the third quarter. 86-71, the lead at 15.
the Spurs are going to just have to pick up their defense. They can't afford to trade baskets at this point with the, Seattle with a big lead. They have to start eliminating the shots.
Can't match him basket for basket now. He'll end up on the short end of the stick. Dennis Johnson shows that he's human, and the rebound with 2 seconds to go to San Antonio. So we're at the end of 3 periods of play in Seattle, Washington. 12 minutes of basketball remaining. Anything can happen. The score, 86-71 Seattle.
See what's new today. When you're driving down the road and you're moving through a curve and your car's looking good, it's showing lots of curve. Monza by Chevrolet.
The new Monza by Chevrolet. For a car so sporty and so well equipped, it's priced surprisingly low.
Be sure to see the hilarious comedy western Support Your Local Gunfighter with James Garner and Suzanne Plachette, Tuesday on CBS.
Be sure and stay tuned for the Most Valuable Player Award at the conclusion of this afternoon's game. 15-point lead now for Seattle. They have up front Jack Sikma playing in the middle, Wally Walker in the right corner, Paul Silas in the left corner against Mark Olberding. With the ball out high now. That was Mike Green giving it over now to James Silas, and Silas hits to cut the lead down to 13 points. The biggest bulge of the afternoon had been 20, enjoyed by Seattle. Never since the first quarter when they were up by 3 have the San Antonio Spurs been in the lead.
The first 3 minutes of this period is going to set tell the tale about the rest of the game. If San Antonio can come out and play aggressive, make them miss, and as soon as you say it, they go in and score again. But that's just one trip down the floor. If they can come out and play the good defense, they can turn things around.
Wally Walker now has 6 points in the game. His average is 6.5. Larry Keenan trying to make his move, does, and gets 2. So Keenan is going to have to carry the load with Gervin out. He has 14 points. Gervin, remember, now has 5 personal fouls. 11 minutes of basketball remaining. Silas is inside. That's his favorite move, coming from the right side of the key to the left and going back to the right hand.
Here you see Silas receives the ball down deep and makes an excellent underhand scoop shot to score.
That is the shot that he first started back when he was in St. Louis many years ago. Well, to be more precise, 14 years ago. Foul call on the play. Getting the 2-shot foul as Walker hit him. And going to the line now will be Larry Keenan with 10:33 remaining.
Keenan has actually become very aggressive the last 4 or 5 times down the court offensively. I think he realizes that Gervin is not in the game, hasn't had a good game, so he's just going to try and take over himself and keep the Spurs within striking distance.
He entered the NBA with San Antonio. He was in a trade from the Nets for Swen Nader. He has been averaging 26.5 per game, 61% shooting percentage in 3 games this week. His last 8, he's averaged 23.5, and his free throw percentage has been excellent, the highest of his career. 87.5% going into this game. He's got 16 now, and he's 2 for 2 at the line. There's a foul on the play. Wally Walker airborne on that one. Wally's been very aggressive this afternoon.
Wally receives the ball, goes baseline, no one picks him up, and he tries to take a 10-foot takeoff for the dunk.
Walker, once he gets his confidence in this league, it's going to be a good one.
I don't know what, excuse me, Gary, I don't know what kind of defense the Spurs were in that particular time down the floor, but they let Wally receive the ball in the corner and go all the way to the basket before he was fouled.
Walker made his move toward the hoop. Now Walker in the game has pumped in a total of 8 points. It is now 93-77. Time is going to begin to run out on San Antonio shortly. A big score in Detroit was 112-92. Detroit over Chicago. And Phoenix knocked off Cleveland in Cleveland, 123-112 this afternoon. Leaves a couple of other games in the NBA, Stu. One of them a big one at the Forum.
Atlanta plays Los Angeles tonight at the Forum, and it is a very big game. And Atlanta gives L.A. a little trouble.
John Drew is tough. Milwaukee at Washington also later on. Silas' second foul. Now there are 2 team fouls against Seattle and 1 against the Spurs. Olberding trying to get it inside. A fine defensive effort by Jack Stickman. He plays with intensity, that young man. Freddie Brown looking inside. That's Gus Williams. Billy Pulse is going to have to come back in the game shortly and get some offense in for San Antonio, but it might be too late. Freddie Brown now has 14 big ones.
You just can't let him shoot. You just when he receives the basketball, I think they're going to start doubling up on him because he is an excellent shooter and make somebody else shoot the ball.
Gus Williams with a hustling play. 95-77, 9.5 minutes to go. Will Brown take his specialty? An air ball. Now here comes Silas. He just doesn't burst down the court the way he used to anymore.
Well, that knee injury has slowed him up quite a bit.
But he made a good play anyways, Stu, and he's in for 2. So James Silas makes it 95-79.
The thing that makes Fred Brown so difficult to defend is that he can shoot off of either foot, and he has a lot of shots with twisted body motions, and it makes him difficult to defend.
Boy, he's making you look like a genius. He whacked that one in from out yonder. The #1 draft choice of Seattle, former great at Iowa. He's now in his 7th year and one of the pure shooters in the NBA. Olberding with a rebound, and out of bounds it goes. Oddly enough, in this game, Seattle has had 3 different leading scorers as Billy Pulse comes back in for San Antonio. Johnson led him with 9 in the first period, Brown in the second period with 12, and Sickman in the third period with 8. They have a good bench, they utilize it well, great team spirit, and they run.
That's a good team effort. That's an indication that everyone is getting involved in it, and the ball is not staying in one person's hands or 2 people. Everyone's getting the feel of it.
97-79, 8.5 minutes left in the game. Walker gives you a little howdy-do on that one, huh?
Going to be an excellent player.
A little behind the back.
Goes over, makes a good behind-the-back dribble, loses his man, comes up with a little 15-footer and buries it.
That's a clinic, that move. Here's Silas up the middle. He gets whacked, and he'll go to the line and get a couple.
Silas has given them something that they haven't had consistently today. He's penetrating. He's going to the basket, and when that happens, you create a lot of things.
Wally Walker now comes up with his 5th foul. And Bruce Seals will come back into the ball game. 6'8", out of Xavier in New Orleans. Or to be more precise, Xavier, #2 draft choice of Seattle. Now it is Sickma. What a shot out deep by Dampier. 4 points for Dampier. Averages 9.5. On the back line, Freddie Brown. He is working along with Gus Williams, who has taken his man into the hole on the #2 slot on a double pick on the left. Sickma has it taken away. Here comes Olberding, who does not lack for desire. This kid really tries hard. Doesn't have too much ability, but he has great desire.
Well, when you don't have a lot of natural talent, you have to make up for it some way, and the best way to do it is to go out and play extremely hard every night, hustle, and learn the fundamentals. Here he makes a good deflection of the ball, retrieves it, takes it all the way down, all the way to the hoop, gets fouled by Sickman.
Mark Olberding averaged only 4 points a game in his last 7. On the year, Olberding, averaging 8.5, has 3 points. Drafted by San Diego initially, and then San Antonio picked him up when that club went under. George Gervin coming back into the ball game with 5 fouls. Dampier comes out. Olberding came out to play with his college coach in San Diego, Bill Musselman. Big guy now has 5, so it's 99-83, the lead of 16. 7.5 minutes to go in the game. Gus Williams missing. Waltz does not come up with it. Walker behind him doesn't score, so Wally makes a good play. And nobody's going home, Stu Lance. They love it.
They love it up here in Seattle. They wouldn't go home if the score was up 50 or behind 20. They love their team here in Seattle.
One of the big factors in Portland's success, as you know, Stu, last year, Gervin, I think, might have just come up with another foul. No? Was it Sikma? It was his 5th foul. Gervin is still in the game. But one of the big success stories was the way the crowd had caught on with the Portland team last year and how much they helped him. And one of the disadvantages with the Los Angeles Lakers is their fans just don't seem to get that involved. And I know at one time the Lakers were concerned about it a number of years ago, about the fans getting more enthused and behind their club. And who knows, going into the wire and down to the wire now, maybe the Lakers fans will come out en masse. Billy Paul's missing the shot. That's his 2nd. He's missed 15 total points. 101-83. So the lead is 17 points. 18 out of 22 from the foul line for San Antonio. 25 for 29 for Seattle. That's Bruce Seals. The rebound knocked out of bounds. It belongs to the men in black.
Anybody that Lenny brings off the bench, they come in hustling. There you see Bruce Seals, just recently put into the game, takes a shot, follows his own rebound and hustles, tries to get it back.
Seals used to be a starter here a couple of years ago. Not so anymore. They've had some changes indeed. Wally Walker over to Gus Williams, and Gus brings it home.
There's an unselfish play by Wally Walker. He makes the steal and gives it up to a guy going down the floor. He could have very easily taken it down himself.
So the former USC star, Gus Williams, now has 12 points, and it is 103-84. Gervin tries to find room, gives it over to Paulson. Goaltending on the play, called against Marvin Webster, who does not like it.
Good penetration by Gervin. Here again, he sees Paulson, gives it to him. Webster goes up for the goaltend.
Just as it was beginning to come down. 103-86, 27 to go. The action in Seattle as the Supersonics are trying to blow this team right out of the tub. The Supersonics, if they win, they will be 39-31. The Lakers are 37-32. So the pressure will be on Los Angeles somewhat tonight. Silas with a good move there. Seals with a rebound. And now it'll be 2-on-1. That's Freddie Brown. Some kind of move.
That's the body control that I was talking about. He can shoot off of either foot. He has great body control, and it makes him very difficult to defend.
And look at that shot by George Gervin.
And an Iceman says, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Oh, some kind of reverse layup. But Freddie Brown had it, pulled it out, and then tucked it back in. Stuck it right out to grab and pulled it back. Acrobatic shooting here in Seattle, Washington. 105-88. And Bruce Seals missing. You'd think it was a tie game the way they're running up and down to the court. Silas throws it away with Fred Brown, picks it off. Look at that behind the back. Gus Williams. Oh, they love it. A standing ovation.
Now that's the kind of play that the people like to see. The players like to see it. It's very exciting and it's very rewarding and it's very contagious.
Oh, the fans are still standing and applauding. Gus Williams, left-handed behind the back pass. Foul in the act of shooting. They're just going bananas up here now. 4 minutes and 55 seconds to go. If they have the advantage in the playoff series, they're gonna be tough.
100 miles from nowhere, you prospect for black gold, punching holes in the seafloor, knowing that more often than not you'll come up empty. But you take the gamble anyway and give it everything you've got. Now comes Miller time. Time to head for shore and the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer, Miller Beer.
The Road Handler, Sears' best steel-belted radio. It ran the rugged route of the Pony Express with even more traction than the Sears steel-belted radio that beat the Baja. Sears Road Handler has a wider radial design with 2 steel belts under a deeper, broader tread for a bigger footprint and better traction. Laboratory tests show better traction for wet curves, better traction for slippery hills, better traction for stopping. The Road Handler, from the home of the radials, Sears.
Sir, what's the hurry? Going to rent a car. Oh, well, you don't have to run. Gotta run. Oh, no, if you had an Avis Wizard number, you could walk. Walk. Call toll-free and let our Wizard system do the running. Just show a major credit card, license, sign, and get the car.
I don't have to run through airports?
Not with Avis.
I can walk through airports.
We try hard, Avis. Avis, we don't know another way.
I'm walking through airports.
Next Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports Spectacular presents highlights of the World Cup skiing finals with America's Phil Mayer racing against Sweden's Ingemar Stenmark. Highlights of European freestyle figure skating. Plus, the 33rd running of the Gulfstream Handicap. That's next Saturday at 5 p.m.
It has been an incredible year here in Seattle. And this man, according to his owner, has been the key man. Lenny Wilkins, the man in blue, to your right. He has turned it all around, and Sam Shulman told us 3-4 weeks ago that he owes it all to that soft-spoken gentleman. And that's a very apt way to describe Lenny Wilkins.
It's going to be very difficult for anybody to challenge him for Coach of the Year.
You know, in a way, we are wrong saying he's going for the general manager title. He was the director of player personnel, and Zolly Valchek was the general manager when all the moves were made. But I am sure that Zolly would give him credit for asking for the moves that were made. Fine move by George Gervin. Gervin coming alive has 18, but remember, he only had 6 points in the first half. Johnson locked him up, Stu Lantz.
Well, Dennis does an excellent job of playing defense on anyone that he has to guard, and today he was very successful against George.
Back in the ballgame, or in the ballgame, Joe Hassett for the first time. Joe at 6'5" out of Providence, wears number 10 on the back of his white uniform. That's Bristow coming in off the bench. Alan Bristow now has 3 points, and it's 109-92. 4 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the game. Seattle with a commanding lead. They're up now by 17 points. Bruce Seals trying to find some air. Taken away by Billy Paultz. Almost intercepted by Hassett. He knocks it out of bounds.
Right now, I think Lenny just wants them to settle down, take better. We can get a better shot than that, he's telling them. You know, we don't have to force the ball up. We're the ones with the lead. Let's work on our execution right now.
Oddly enough, San Antonio came into the game in the series shooting better from the field, from the floor, and scoring 7.5 points per game more in the previous 3 games, but they have had it taken away from them now. And with 3 minutes and 34 seconds to go, it's 109-94. Seattle leading. So now in that Pacific Division, coming into the game for the first time, is Mo Layton. We alluded to him as Mo Laxton earlier. Mo, of course, out of USC. It is 5th team in 5 years. And Marvin Webster bangs it in. 14 big ones for Marvin Webster. 111-94. That's Mo. Mo played with the Knicks for a while, a little left-handed dribbler. Hasn't been to the foul line in over a month. Hasn't played very much. Well, he hasn't been to the foul line in 3 months.
And
out of bounds it goes.
Excuse me, Jerry, that's an oddity because Mo is the penetrator. He's very good at penetrating, getting to the basket, and drawing fouls. So I can't understand why he hasn't been there in 3 months, short of playing time.
Yeah, I guess that's probably it. He played a couple of years with Portland, 1 year, I think, with Portland, a couple of years with Phoenix. Was with the Knicks for a while.
We've got the beer, Miller beer.
The Road Handler, Sears' best steel-belted radio. It ran the rugged route of the Pony Express with even more traction than the Sears steel-belted radio that beat the Baja. Sears Road Handler has a wider radial design with 2 steel belts under a deeper, broader tread for a bigger footprint and better traction. Laboratory tests show better traction for wet curves, better traction for slippery hills, better traction for stopping. The Road Handler, from the home of the radios, Sears.
Sir, what's the hurry?
Going to rent a car.
Oh, well, you don't have to run.
Gotta run.
Oh, no, if you had an Avis Wizard number, you could walk.
Walk.
Call toll-free and let our Wizard system do the running. Just show a major credit card, license, sign, and get the car.
I don't have to run through airports?
Not with Avis.
I can walk through airports.
We try harder, Avis, we don't know another way.
I'm walking through airports.
Next Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports Spectacular presents highlights of the World Cup skiing finals with America's Phil Mayer racing against Sweden's Ingemar Stenmark. Highlights of European freestyle figure skating. Plus, the 33rd running of the Gulfstream Handicap. That's next Saturday at 5 p.m.
It has been an incredible year here in Seattle. And this man, according to his owner, has been the key man. Lenny Wilkins, the man in blue, to your right. He has turned it all around, and Sam Shulman told us 3-4 weeks ago that he owes it all to that soft-spoken gentleman. And that's a very apt way to describe Lenny Wilkins.
It's going to be very difficult for anybody to challenge him for Coach of the Year.
You know, in a way, we are wrong saying he's going for the general manager title. He was the director of player personnel, and Zali Valchek was the general manager when all the moves were made. But I am sure that Zali would give him credit for asking for the moves that were made. Fine move by George Gervin. Gervin coming alive has 18, but remember, he only had 6 points in the first half. Johnson locked him up, Stu Land.
Well, Dennis does an excellent job of playing defense on anyone that he has to guard, and today he was very successful against George.
Back in the ballgame, or in the ballgame, Joe Hassett for the first time. Joe at 6'5" out of Providence, wears number 10 on the back of his white uniform. That's Bristow coming in off the bench. Alan Bristow now has 3 points, and it's 109-92. 4 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the game. Seattle with a commanding lead. They're up now by 17 points. Bruce Seals trying to find some air. Taken away by Billy Paultz. Almost intercepted by Hassett. He knocks it out of bounds.
Right now, I think Lenny just wants them to settle down, take better. We can get a better shot than that, he's telling them. You know, we don't have to force the ball up. We're the ones with the lead. Let's work on our execution right now.
Oddly enough, San Antonio came into the game in the series shooting better from the field, from the floor, and scoring 7.5 points per game more in the previous 3 games, but they have had it taken away from them now. And with 3 minutes and 34 seconds to go, it's 109-94. Seattle leading. So now in that Pacific Division, coming into the game for the first time, is Mo Layton. We alluded to him as Mo Laxton earlier. Mo, of course, out of USC. It is 5th team in 5 years. And Marvin Webster bangs it in. 14 big ones for Marvin Webster. 111-94. That's Mo. Mo played with the Knicks for a while. Little left-handed dribbler. Hasn't been to the foul line in over a month. Hasn't played very much. Well, he hasn't been to the foul line in 3 months.
And
out of bounds it goes.
Excuse me, Jerry, that's an oddity because Mo is a penetrator. He's very good at penetrating and getting to the basket and drawing fouls. So I can't understand why he hasn't been there in 3 months, short of playing time.
Yeah, I guess that's probably it. He played a couple of years with Portland, 1 year, I think, with Portland, a couple of years with Phoenix. Was with the Knicks for a while. That's Billy Paultz with it. 2 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the game. 111-94. Seattle has just won it. Seattle will remain the 4th team, the 4th best team in the Western Conference now. Portland is number 1. Denver is number 2. 3 will be Phoenix. 4 will be Seattle. And Los Angeles will be the 5th best. And Milwaukee, number 6. They are striving for those 6 playoff berths. And you'll see the playoffs right here on CBS. Freddie Brown. Good effort by Seals to keep it alive. Webster missing inside with the rebound, but look at the hustle on that play by Fleming. Al Fleming out of Arizona. really hustling.
The people here in Seattle are not too happy about the lack of a call on that particular play involving Al Fleming.
2 minutes and 15 seconds left in the game, and Seattle is blowing them out.
In the tropics, where we blend Dutch Master cigars, our master blender, Augusto Santiago, meets the tobacco personally. Before he accepts, he tastes it 3 times. First with his nose, then with his touch. Then he wraps a leaf around the cigar and tastes it with his taste. That's why a Dutch Masters like our Panatella is worth more. There really are masters at Dutch Masters.
Hey, look at that. It's a chainsaw with its case. Uh-oh, somebody left it. Probably taking a coffee break. It's a McCulloch Mac 140. Wow. It's got automatic oiling. That's slick. This is the chain brake safety feature. Yeah. It stops the chain in less than 1/10 of a second. That's fast. And look at these teeth. They sharpen themselves with a press of a button. Mine don't.
The McCulloch Mac 140. You can't buy another chainsaw with all these features at any price.
That McCulloch's got just about everything. Yeah, but I bet it can't swim. Good point.
McCulloch. In the yellow pages, under saws.
See what's new today in a Chevrolet.
Chevrolet Caprice and Impala wagons have more of the things wagon people want. A convenient door gate, quick and easy seat conversion, 2 lockable storage compartments, and a generous 4-foot wide cargo area. And for a full-size wagon, mileage is surprisingly good. See the new Chevrolet, America's best-selling full-size wagon, at your Chevrolet wagon stop.
Following the game, CBS Sports presents the World Skate Challenge with JoJo Starbuck, Janet Lynn, and more superstars of the ice competing in a unique format. That's the World Skate Challenge, following the game on most of these stations.
We have 2 minutes and 15 seconds left to go. And at the conclusion of this game, Stu Lance, you'll be visiting, hopefully, with some of the Seattle Supersonics. That was Mo Layton taking the left-handed jump shot. The team in black, San Antonio, Billy Paltz, has committed the foul. It's his 5th on the play. Freddie Brown comes out of the game for Seattle. Alan Bristow, Kobe Dietrich, Mo Layton, Louis Dampier, and Billy Paltz are in the game right now, all for San Antonio. That's Gus Williams making his move. Rebounded by Dietrich. His pass stolen away by Joe Hassett, the kid from Providence College. Jack Sikma has it go off his fingers and out of bounds.
Hassett made an excellent steal on that play, pulled up for the jumper. He's an excellent shooter. I think a little bit more playing time will give him a little bit more confidence.
Well, they named him Sonar in college at Providence. Got a medium to a long-range jumper that's supposed to be excellent. Dampier missing, and the rebound by Fleming. The number 2 draft choice of Phoenix, Al Fleming. That's Jack Sikma, using the boards very well. 16 points for Big Jack. What an addition he's been, Stu.
A welcome addition to this club. And I tell you, everybody is involved. Everybody touches the basketball. It's a total team effort.
Jack Sikma at 6'11", playing in the middle, number 43, a rookie. That's Bruce Seals with it. Goes to Fleming and throws it away. Al can't come up with it. Al was signed as a free agent this summer, waived in November, and re-signed in January, number 30. Al Fleming, now in his 2nd year in the NBA. That's Alan Bristow with his favorite move, right to left with a southpaw shot, and a foul call. What a game this guy, 43, has played.
I've seen him play the last 2 games, and in both games he's been very impressive. I think he has a very fine future in the NBA.
14,098, the 9th sellout for owner Sam Shulman and his hustling, aggressive Seattle Supersonics. And at the line, it'll be Jack Sikma. Sikma, the 8th pick, has not learned how to shoot a hook shot yet. Can you imagine how good this fella's going to be when he learns how to hook? And Lenny Wilkins says he's going to have to utilize that a little more. Former CBS television announcer, Len Wilkins. Could be the coach of the year. He looks very relaxed. His lovely wife, Marilyn, is delighted. Things are going well. Everything's going well when you're winning, no matter what sport you're coaching. That's Gus Williams. 42 seconds remaining. 116 to 94, 116 to 98, or make it 96. Now it's 6 points in the game for Louis Dampier. Chasing it out of bounds, unable to hang on to it. You see the time remaining in the game. The record now will be 20-3 as Bristow scores at home. 20-3 since Wilkins took over. 116 to 98, the Seattle Supersonics keep the march on, the drive toward the playoffs. Gus Williams with Bruce Seals outside. Don't forget, the big game tonight is at the Forum. Joe Hassett picks it off. Fleming cannot hang on to it. Kansas City beat Buffalo. Detroit beat Chicago. Boston over Denver. Philadelphia dropped New York. Cleveland lost to Phoenix today. That's the time remaining in the game. As Layton misses up the buzzer. The ball game is over. The final score, 116 to 98. Seattle winning. Their record under Wilkins now bounces up even better to 34-14. They are 20-3 here at home. And by winning, they remain the fourth best team in the Western Conference as they battle, and Doug Moe comes off the court. Not too pleased. But now Seattle battles toward one of those 6 Western Conference playoff spots. You see the final score. The big man in the game, Freddie Brown, had 20 points. Also, Dennis Johnson was the number 2 scorer with 19. Marvin Webster had 14 along with Johnny Johnson's 12. Gus Williams. Shortly to interview some of the Seattle players.
Energy for a stronger America.
Not long ago, Exxon launched the world's tallest offshore oil platform. Today, off California's coast, it's opening America's really deep waters as a source of energy for the first time. From its deck over 900 feet above the ocean floor, drilling crews have begun work. And soon, 28 wells here will be producing oil and gas where none could be produced before. A new source of energy for a strong America.
Next Sunday at 1:45 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports presents NBA regional action with Portland taking on Philadelphia, Chicago going against Cleveland, Detroit tangling with Milwaukee, and Boston at Seattle. Consult your local listings for the games and time in your area. That's NBA regional action next Sunday.
The Chevrolet Most Valuable Player Award this afternoon will be going to Dennis Johnson. You see him there. Had a superlative day defensively and offensively. And the Chevrolet $1,000 scholarship will be awarded to Pepperdine on behalf of Dennis Johnson. Now let's switch courtside to Stu Lance.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm here with 2 of the Supersonics, Fred Brown and Dennis Johnson. Dennis, first of all, congratulations on presenting the reward today of the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player. Also, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. As reporters, we speculate as to what the difference is in the Seattle ball club. We'd like to hear a player's viewpoint on it. What do you think has turned around your ball club?
That's hard. I really can't say over one aspect of the game. It's basically since the changeover from Lenny to Bob Hopkins, I think everybody's doing a variety of things. Everybody's looking for their shots. I think everybody has a little more confidence in themselves, to do the right things, not knowing that if we make a mistake, nothing is said behind it or anything. Just basically an overall approach to our game.
Well, that's the thing that Lenny brings. I think he instills a lot of confidence in all of his players. And Fred, you've had to make an adjustment. You were a starter. Now you're coming off the bench. And I think you've made a great adjustment because mentally that's not an easy adjustment to make.
Yeah, you're right, Stu. It's not the easiest job in the world, but, this game of basketball is like life. You got to adjust all the time, constantly adjusting. And if you're going to achieve anything in life, you just have to be ready to make those adjustments.
Well, I think you've done a fine job, and I think the Seattle Supersonics have a very good chance in the playoffs. I know you're trying to go for that 4th spot with that home court advantage in that mini-series with the Lakers. Do you think that series is going to be as good as everyone expects it to be?
I'm going to say I don't really know too much about the playoffs, right? Because I'm just really getting into it my first year of the playoffs. I would let Fred answer that question.
Well, I think you'll handle the playoff situation quite easily. Fred, one last question. What do you think will be the difference in the playoffs for the Seattle Supersonics. What phase of the game is it going to take from you to be able to go far in the playoffs?
Well, I happen to think it's going to be tough defense and our center play. If Marvin Webster's ready to play night after night in the playoffs, then we're going to be tough, and it's going to be hard for any team to contend with us.
Thank you. Now I'd like to throw it right back to Jerry Gross.
Okay, thank you, Stu Lance, so much. Final score in this one, 116-98. You heard it all from Freddie Brown, who pumped in 20 points, came off the bench to get 12 in the second quarter, and then added 8 more in the final quarter. That's some kind of a bench. You can come in with Freddie Brown, and he can bang in outside and loosen up the defense. Also, the excellent play defensively.
Is Gillette Foamy thick and rich enough to stop this super sports car? No. Is Foamy thick and rich enough to support this lovely lady? No. Is Foamy thick and rich enough to hold up this husky hiker?
No. But if you want a clean, close shave, it's more than thick and rich enough.
Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern, Challenge of the Sexes features a parallel skiing challenge with world-class skiers Joseph Odermatt and Susan Korak. A skateboard challenge with Ernie Martin going against one of the best female freestyle competitors, Robin Logan. Plus a table tennis competition. That's Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern.
We are back here in Seattle, and Stu Lance, it's a remarkable reaction that the crowd has had, and we want to thank initially our producer, Tom O'Neill, and, of course, John McDonough, our fine director this afternoon. You're wearing the Irish green here, and they have that Irish green fever here in Seattle. They haven't done anything wrong up here in the last month or so. And I'm wondering what you think about the playoffs coming up with the Los Angeles Lakers. Can this club beat the Lakers with the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The home court advantage is going to be very important. If they can maintain that fourth position in the standings that they have right now, then they will have that fourth spot locked up in the home court advantage. That means they don't have to win in Los Angeles. They can win both games here, and that gives you a little bit of a cushion if you have that going for you.
It should be a whale of a playoff, and I think you're going to all enjoy it. Of course, CBS will be delighted to bring you the playoffs, as they have in the past few years, and that kind of wraps it up here from Seattle. This is Jerry Gross for Stu Lance, saying goodbye from the Seattle Center Coliseum. Want to remind you, though, before we say goodbye, we do have some exciting action coming up next. The World Skate Challenge featuring some of the finest skaters in the world, headed by Olympic gold medalist Janet Lynn. And we have 6-time Canadian champion Toller Cranston, along with many others. Remember, that's coming up next, right here on CBS. The NBA on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.
This is CBS.